All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome. If you are new, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for waiting patiently for the intro to roll along there. Today we're talking all about the PlayStation 5 Pro, how Sony is seemingly going all in with the PS5 Pro. Xbox is seemingly doing nothing. And there's also a conversation about Sony debating internally whether or not they want to delay the PS5 Pro because they are worried that they're not going to have enough first-party content to put out alongside it. So we have Rich Rod 908 saying, LOL, nice jab at Xbox in the title. Fuck Xbox. Indeed. Rich Rod, indeed. Fuck Xbox, indeed. Now, I mean, I guess it's a little bit of a jab, but it's true, though. Like, it seems that Microsoft is doing literally nothing when it comes to a mid-gen refresh or a more powerful Xbox console. And it's really interesting to think about that when we see with the leaked specifications of the PS5 Pro that Sony is like I said, they're seemingly going all in here, man. They're not pulling any punches. Is it just the lighting or is MBG sick? It's definitely the lighting. Although, I don't know, I do have a little bit of a headache today. I was outside a lot yesterday. Actually, now that I'm looking at myself, I'm a little puffy in the eyebrow. Yeah, actually, I do look a little swollen, don't I? I was outside yesterday doing a lot of yard work, getting my hands dirty. Doing a lot of shit back there, and it's probably allergies, honestly, because I woke up with a little bit of a headache, you know, a little sinus thing going on. But the lighting probably doesn't help. I'm not using my why does that keep freezing like that? That's so damn annoying. I don't know why my camera. This is a problem I've been having. My camera just keeps freezing every couple of seconds, but. Yeah, I'm not using my light right now because it's just too bright. I can't deal with that shit, to be honest. So hopefully you guys are okay with the kind of shadow MBG. I see we have Jake Skew 28 gifting a membership. Jake Skew, thank you so much, man. Thank you for getting us started today with the membership gift drop. I appreciate that, buddy. Is it seriously still not working? Why is my soundboard not working? I forgot to look into this. Whatever. But thank you, Jake. Thank you for dropping a membership gift. We have Sim Particle dropping a $10 super chat saying, surprise, mofo. Well, thank you. Thank you for that little surprise, Sim Particle. Thank you for the support, buddy. Love to see it. But yeah, we're going to be talking all about this situation because it's really interesting. I got to say, I made a video yesterday talking about the PS5 Pro, and holy hell, I don't know if it's just my channel or what, but the level of negativity that I see surrounding the PS5 Pro is wow, man. Like a lot of people. I mean. It feels like Sony is practically offending people with the PS5 Pro. That's like the level of intensity that I'm seeing from people in my comment section. And I'm like, okay, this is a little weird. Yeah, people are going nuts over it. I'm like, dude, this is you know. And we have MBG with a milestone chat. MBG has been a member for 9 months. Kind of weird to think about that. He says, hit the like button, guys. So yeah, before we dive into these conversations today, a couple of ways you can help support the channel. Obviously, watching the content. Thank you to everybody who watches. Shout out to everybody who watches the streams later on if you can't catch them live. Hit that like button for me. It helps the streams out tremendously. It just helps with the algorithm and whatnot. Lets me know you enjoy them. 3 ways you can support me directly. consider becoming a channel member, gain access to a members lounge. I cannot promise a members lounge today, unfortunately, but we do plenty of members lounges. It's exclusive content for those of you who are members. So yeah, consider becoming a channel member. Help support me directly. Consider gifting channel memberships and consider donating a super chat. All of those things help tremendously. So again, a thank you and a shout out to those of you who support this channel and this content directly. I also do want to let everybody know that I have a dental procedure that I have to have done tomorrow, and I don't know what to expect. So, I mean, there is a chance, although a slim one, that I might be able to squeeze out a video prior to that procedure. So there might be a video drop tomorrow. There probably won't be, but there's still that chance. But I guess I'm just letting you guys know this because I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I don't know if I'm going to be gone for 1 day, for 2 days, for 3 days, for more than 3 days. I want to say that it'll probably just be at most a couple days. But yeah, I'm going to have no teeth when I come back. So be prepared. It's just going to be gums. No more teeth, just gums. All right? God, I want it so badly to not tell you guys that was a joke and just let people, just keep you guys waiting to see, like, is it true? But I can't do that to you. I'm not losing all my teeth. So luckily, although I am losing a couple though, which is unfortunate. But yeah, we'll see how that works. But I figured I would let you guys know. Abe, you're saying, MBG, it's no offense, but Sony has a tendency of coming out with a weak version of their console, and then later they bring out the Pro. I'm like, what the heck, man? I'm stuck with a subpar console. No. If we look at the PS4 at the time, I do agree, was a little bit weak compared to, like, PC at the time. I was definitely a little bit behind, but this time around with the PS5, here's what I'll say, man. Like, you're not stuck with, like, a weak console if you just stick with the PS5. I think that's a misconception. Like, is the PS5 Pro going to be significantly more powerful in some ways? Yes. But it's a pretty powerful console, I would say. I think we've gotten a pretty good look at what can be achieved on the PS5, and it's really not bad. Is it perfect? No. But what is? I mean, you see these PC guys that come out and they're always talking about how much better PC is, and yet, like, some of the most disastrous game launches are on PC. I'm not saying that's PC's fault. I'm just saying it's like there are imperfections regardless of which console or which platform you choose to play on. And I would say one of the things with the PlayStation 5 is that, and this is a complaint I've seen from a lot of people, is they feel like it hasn't really been fully utilized. Like, why would we want to upgrade to a PS5 Pro if the base model PS5 hasn't really been truly tapped into yet? And I think that's a fair thing to say because, yeah, we haven't seen that. But it's also fair to say that we didn't see that with the PS4 either, right? And that didn't stop people from being interested in the PS4 Pro. And I just think that the big disconnect here, and I'm kind of surprised that there is this much of a disconnect with the conversation surrounding a PS5 Pro. The big disconnect is a lot of people, I think, have just, I don't know if it's a misunderstanding, but they speak as if for some reason you have to buy a PS5 Pro, or that if you don't buy it, you're going to be, like, severely left behind. And it's like neither of those things are true. I keep telling people over and over again that if you're not excited for the PS5 Pro, that's fine. You're really not going to miss much. But if you are excited for it, you're probably going to get a pretty decent upgrade. Something that, I think people who, who want better performance and better resolutions, like, you're going to get that. And I want to, so one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my video from yesterday. I'm not going to watch it or react to it, but I'm going to read some of the comments just to show you, like, how intense some people are getting. Maybe not intense, but there's just a lot of negativity. We have Corey the Legend Landiga coming in with the super chat saying, "What's up, bro? They cast your dentures yet?" LMAO. No, not yet. Not yet. That's tomorrow. Dude, I have to admit, I'm pretty nervous, man. Like, I don't like the dentist. I don't like any of that. It had some bad experiences when I was a kid. I think a lot of people have bad experiences at the dentist. Muscle bound gummer. Oh, dude, that sounds so wrong, though. That sounds brutal. Muscle bound gummer. I don't like that. You got to come up with something better than that. But yeah, dude, I am a little bit nervous. Not about the procedure itself, because, I'll be knocked out for it, but the recovery. I don't know what it's going to, I don't know. We'll see. Mrs. MBG has been very reassuring. As you can see, Mrs. MBG coming in. Number one, with the timing of that, though. Holy shit. The timing of that. Wow. I'm genuinely surprised. That was very unexpected. As soon as I dropped Mrs. MBG's name, she dropped a $10 super chat. Thank you, Mrs. MBG. She is my number one fan after all. But she has been reassuring me that the recovery is not going to be nearly as bad as I think, that I'll probably be back to, creating content in a day or two. So, do I floss? Do you even floss, bro? I try to, yeah. I use those, what are they called? They're like floss picks or something. I used to use regular floss, the one that you kind of wrap around your fingers. And I do kind of miss that, because I feel like you could do more with it. You have more maneuverability, but the floss picks are very convenient. But yeah, dude, flossing is definitely important for me. There have been times where I haven't done it enough, but my teeth are very, like, close together. Like, they're kind of pushed together. I think that's due to my wisdom teeth. And man, it sucks. But anyway, hopefully that answers your question, Corey. We have Jake Skew28 dropping another membership gift for us. Jake, thank you so much, man. Thank you for keeping the membership train rolling here today. Brought us up to 2 membership gifts.
Say hello.
That's the only soundbite that works now, guys. I don't know why the other ones are broken. I'm gonna have to, like, completely overhaul my sound bites, apparently. Rise of the Ronin coming in 3 days. That's true. That's true. Yeah, it's weird because it feels like it's... Wait, is it 3 days? I think it's a week. I think we have about 5 days, right? 22nd? But anyway, yeah, so let's talk about this PlayStation 5 Pro situation. The way these events have unfolded, it started with a leak, right, from Moore's Law is Dead, and we covered that. And I noticed that the day that I covered the leak from Moore's Law is Dead, a lot of people didn't believe him. A lot of people were saying that he's a bad source, he's an unreliable source, he's not to be trusted, so on and so forth. And I get that, I guess. To be honest, I haven't really followed Moore's Law is Dead that closely, so I didn't really know how accurate he was or was not. But I know that a lot of people were saying that we shouldn't trust what he's putting out here. And then not too long after, and this is, I think, what really did it for people, is Tom Henderson. He came out and he backed up Moore's Law is Dead, and he said, yes, I can confirm that the leaked documents that Moore's Law is Dead showed on his YouTube channel and the leaked specifications are true. That is the PS5 Pro. And once Tom Henderson confirmed it, I know that there are people where it's like, it's still just a rumor, it's still leaks, and it's like, I don't know what to tell people at that point where it's like, listen, Tom Henderson has had an impeccable track record, like a 100% track record with PlayStation leaks. He has not been wrong about anything. And if people are still like, no, I don't believe him, then I don't know what to tell you. I guess at that point, just wait until Sony officially announces it, which is fine. But if there's one person that I absolutely am willing to, count on when it comes to this and say, yeah, if Tom Henderson is telling me that these are the specifications of the PS5 Pro, I'm going to believe that 100%. And of course, it's not official confirmation, but it may as well be. And once Tom came out and confirmed these specs, I think a lot of people were caught off guard because when he mentioned that too, that apparently the dev kits of the PS5 Pro look identical to the dev kits of the base PS5. I don't know that there's any significance to that, honestly. Maybe it means the PS5 Pro will look somewhat similar to the PS5 now, but I don't know. I don't think there's much that can be gleaned from that. But a lot of people, I think, were surprised when Tom Henderson confirmed that, yeah, the specs that were just leaked, they are real. That is the PS5 Pro. Because when we were going over these specs, a lot of people were like, holy shit, this is not believable. Like, this is way too much. This is too powerful. And even now, something that I see people saying is that, well, the PS5 Pro is going to be, it's going to be like a $1,200, an $800 console. And I just think people don't know. I think people don't quite understand. And I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but I keep seeing these comments. It's like the PS5 Pro is not going to be $800. It's not going to be $1,000. It's not going to be $1,200. It's probably going to be $600. Maybe $700 at most. That's at most if you want the disc drive with it, right? Which would still be an expensive console for sure, but it's not going to be in this ridiculous, nonsensical price range. And the reason for that is because I think people are forgetting once again that Sony is not just pulling parts. They're not pulling PC parts off the shelf and putting them into a box and calling it the PS5 Pro. Mark Cerny's job is to customize what will be the PS5 Pro, to take some of the technology from AMD, their partner, put some of it in the PS5 Pro, but customize other aspects. And all of that customization is done in the name of making an ultimately affordable console. Will it be a high-end premium console? Yes, but it will be affordable. If Sony decided to go crazy with the PS5 Pro and make it an $800,000, $900,000 console, I mean, truth is they probably wouldn't even bother with that because they realize, like, that's not going to reach a wide market. Am I sure about that? Yes, I am sure that the PS5 is not going to be, that the PS5 Pro is not going to be $800,000, $900,000, $1,000. Like for me, the absolute high watermark, like the absolute highest price point for the PS5 Pro is $700, but that is with a disc drive. I think what Sony's going to do is they're going to come out, here's the PS5 Pro, it's a digital console for $600. We have another model for $700 that comes with the disc drive. I think that's exactly what they're going to do. I'm extremely confident in that. I remember that there were similar conversations happening around the PS4 Pro. All the rumors surrounding Project Neo. People thought that Sony was going to come out with a $600, $700 PS4, and like, no, it was $400. Granted, I don't think the base PS5 is going to get a price cut. Cobb Sanity, a member for 9 months, says my credit card is ready for the PS5 Pro. LOL. Yeah, I hear you, man. I hope it's easy to snag one. I'm a little bit nervous about scalpers. I don't want to deal with that again. I got so lucky with the base PS5, man. I don't know how I got a base PS5. I was very, very lucky. I don't want to have to deal with that, though. Again, I don't think anybody wants to deal with that. $650 for the disc version. Yeah, that's possible as well. $700 would be a lot. Like I genuinely would be a bit surprised if Sony actually was like, yeah, one of our consoles that we're selling is $700. That would be a bit extreme. But, you know, I'm just, again, if we're talking about preparing for the worst case scenario price wise, yeah, that's what I would expect. Oh yeah, true. I forgot to say that. Happy St. Patrick's Day, by the way. Thank you for the reminder, Mrs. MBG. You're saying they'll probably only sell it on PlayStation Direct, limited to one per household for the first 6 months or so. I could see them doing that. But yeah, I mean, something that has become clear, like, I don't want to focus too much on the specifications once again of the PS5 Pro, because I think it has been made clear that this console is going to be powerful. But I think people are getting a little bit ahead of themselves in what the PS5 Pro is going to do. I'm seeing a lot of people think, like, they're saying things kind of like these specifications look like what you would expect from the PlayStation 6. And I understand where that's coming from. The reason why people are saying that is because there is new feature technology that is going to ship with the PS5 Pro that does seem like it would be reserved for something like the PlayStation 6. Again, machine learning, AI, PSSR, you know, their own bespoke upscaling technology. Of course, like, these all seem like things that they would be reserved for the PlayStation 6, but we're going to get them with the PS5 Pro. But there is still a major factor here that people, I think, are not considering when they are having this conversation, is that, yeah, I mean, we could talk about the 33.5 teraflops, and truthfully, it's a nice little buzzword, but it doesn't really mean anything, because ultimately the CPU inside of the PS5 Pro is going to be essentially the same. Maybe, you know, slight improvements to it, but it's not like a next gen CPU. And I just think people need to keep that in mind, that, you know, when you see these buzzwords, because let's be honest, like, when Sony goes to market the PS5 Pro, they're going to throw these buzzwords out there. They're going to make a big deal of it, and that's fine. It's going to be in the name of trying to hype people up and get people excited, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But we do have to understand that the end result of the PS5 Pro is not to achieve next generation games. The end result of the PS5 Pro, the end goal of the PS5 Pro, is to improve current gen games. You would assume and hope in a relatively substantial way, and that comes in the form of not like dramatically different gameplay, not what we would consider next gen gameplay, but, you know, again, resolutions, frame rates, better performance overall, just, you know, settings, being able to go up to high rather than just medium or very high in some cases, stuff like that. And I just think that I'm not saying that to like, you know, reduce the excitement that people have for the PS5 Pro, but I just, again, I see so many different things that people are saying, and there are too many wild expectations across the board, whether that be wildly negative or wildly positive. And the reality is that the PS5 Pro is going to fall right in between both. It's not going to be some kind of revolutionary console that's going to blow people's minds. But what it will be is a very good console, the most powerful console we've ever seen on the market, that's going to probably impress people just based off of, wow, we've never quite seen a console this powerful before. We've never seen a console that could do things like this for games before. But the true, like, mind-blowing next gen, you know, like, wow factor, that's obviously going to be reserved for the PlayStation 6. I think most people understand this, but again, I've seen a lot of wild takes when it comes to the PS5 Pro, unfortunately. And so when we look at the report from Insider Gaming, again, it seems like Sony is feeling a little bit nervous about launching this console with minimal first-party support. And I want to talk about this with you guys. We have Alan L. Gould here with a super chat saying, "Hi MBG, in your title it says Xbox are not doing anything. If I remember, they never did nothing good, just buying big publishers, and that's sad." You know, it's so funny, Alan, because when I was reading your super chat, I was expecting the second part of that super chat for you to then defend them or tell me something that they did, and instead it's no, you're right, they didn't do anything. All they did was buy publishers. That's funny, bro. Yeah, I mean, I know my title maybe comes off a little bit like aggressive or maybe passive aggressive in some sense, but I mean, it's just true. Like Phil Spencer said that the Xbox Series X, when they made that, they tried to make a console that would, I don't know, that would kind of serve as their next gen or their mid-gen refresh. And to me, that's very sad because the Xbox Series X has proven to be, look, I don't want to say a paperweight, but it's not great. I don't even think it's good. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, I see so many people complaining about the PS5 and like, oh, like we haven't even seen what the PS5 is capable of. It's like, dude, if that's what you're saying about the PS5, then the Series X can't even be part of the conversation, unfortunately. And so, you know, it's just a situation where I think Microsoft is basically handing Sony a really easy win. And all Sony has to do is not screw it up, you know? Because I remember when the PS4 Pro came out, Microsoft seemingly they had a plan to compete with the PS4 Pro in a big way, and they did. And they came out with the 6 teraflop Xbox One X, which was significantly more powerful than the PS4 Pro. And I don't know if it really did much for them, but at the very least, it created that competition. And this time around, Sony's going to be coming out with all these new features for the PS5 Pro, and seemingly Microsoft's just going to be sitting there like, so do you want to buy a Series S? You know, like, and that's a weird situation to me because I wouldn't have thought that that's how this would go down. And you do have to wonder like how this is going to ultimately influence how Sony handles the PS5 Pro. I think it'll be a good if Sony, if Sony shows that it doesn't matter, right? Like Sony's not worried about whether Microsoft is making a mid-gen refresh. Sony wants to make the best possible mid-gen refresh they can. That would be reassuring. So thank you for that, Alan. We also have Silent Spartan with a $10 super chat saying the Pro is advertised to the audiences that want unapologetic performance. The crazy expensive 4090 is sold out in minutes on launch. Most thought that was impossible given the price. Yeah, and that's something that I would agree with Silent Spartan. I think that Sony is likely going to make it very clear this time around that this is for people who want the best. I mean, it's not to say that they didn't do that with the PS4 Pro. They did do that with the PS4 Pro. But my whole thing with the PS4 Pro is Sony knew that the PS4 Pro could have more mass appeal just for the simple fact that it's 4K. You're upgrading to 4K. That's an easy sell. That is truly an easy sell. This time around, Sony's going to have to sweeten the deal where it's not 4K. In fact, 4K, I don't even think will be that relevant to the conversation, except for just to say like, hey, you guys are playing games in 4K already, but guess what? If you want the PS5 Pro, like you're saying, it'll be unapologetic performance. It's going to make sure that your games are going to run at 60, stable, locked, no matter what. A lot more games are going to run at 120 FPS. And what about that ray tracing? Yes, it's 8K. God, man, I'm still dreading the idea of Sony talking about 8K. Like, I'm just not looking forward to that. Apparently, it is a little too dark in this room. Let me see if I can. Is that better? I don't know. I feel like it's actually like creating more of a shadow now. I don't know. Is that lighting better or worse? You guys let me know. Because it was getting a little too dark. What's wrong with 8K? It's not that there's anything wrong with 8K. It's just that I don't think 8K should be part of the conversation right now. Like when Sony comes out and talks about the PS5 Pro, I feel like they really shouldn't focus on that because it's like, I don't think it's a good idea. Pretty much nobody has an 8K TV, and I just don't think that's going to be something that makes people go, oh, I need a PS5 Pro. MBG, many are spreading misinformation about the PS5 Pro being 16 teraflops as they think the 33 teraflops is the FP16. The FP16 is actually 67 teraflops. Can you clarify it to your viewers? Yeah, so you're mentioning like the float, like 16 floating points. Yeah, the actual teraflop count of the PS5 Pro based off these specs is like 67 teraflops. But if I'm not mistaken, if we're going based off of, I believe it's like 32 floating points. Because that's the reason why we're looking at it that way is because that's how Microsoft measured their teraflops. When Microsoft said, here's a 12 teraflop Xbox Series X and here's a 6 teraflop Xbox One X, they're measuring it off of like 32 floating points. And when we look at the specs of the PS5 Pro, like, yeah, the 16 floating points, that's going to result in 67 teraflops. 32 floating points, that's going to result in 33.5. So here's what I'll say, though. I'm telling you guys, like, the teraflop conversation is irrelevant. It truly is. You know, I criticized the hell out of Microsoft for marketing teraflops, for focusing on teraflops. And one of the reasons I criticize them for that, the main reason, is because it doesn't mean anything. It just doesn't mean anything. Like, you're getting people hyped and they don't even know why they're getting hyped. 12 teraflop monster or whatever. It's like, what does that mean though? And it turns out it didn't mean shit. It just didn't. Like, as we got further into the generation, more and more people realized that, like, damn, these buzzwords don't really mean much. And people who are more understanding of the technical side of it, they were trying to explain that the teraflop is truly not an accurate measurement for what games can achieve on a custom console. Therefore, we should not focus on the teraflop number. But it is at the same time kind of hard not to focus on the fact that, well, damn, if Microsoft marketed the world's most powerful console at 12 teraflops, then what the hell does that make the PS5 Pro if it's going to be at 33 teraflops? It just, to me, it just paints a very obvious picture that the PS5 Pro is significantly more powerful and more capable than both the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. But again, what that will result in game-wise, we should keep our expectations in check. I think, again, some people are being realistic about it, others not so much. We have, Silent Spartan, thank you for the super chat, buddy. We have Broccoli Rob saying, did you tier change your members only stream chat? No. For this stream, it's just it should just be subscribers only. Yeah, for this stream, it's subscribers only. If you're talking about like my members lounge chat, no, I did not change the tier for that. It's just base tier. Anybody with a membership should be able to chat. When it comes to this chat, it's the only requirement to talk in the chat is to just subscribe. You're saying you were trying to chat in the members lounge a week ago and it wouldn't let you? Maybe, I don't know, maybe your membership ran out or something, man. I don't know. Although, you know what it might have been, Broccoli Rob? Every now and again, I accidentally make my members' streams public. And then a couple minutes later, I realize, oops, this is supposed to be members only. And I switch it to members only. But the chat is still members only. And maybe your membership had run out, but you thought it was still there because it was accidentally made public. If that's the case, I apologize. That's my fault for causing unnecessary confusion. Jack, you're saying the T-flop conversation will not stop. Only this time the stance will be flipped. Xbox fans will downplay the teraflop while Sony fans will shout out loud on the T-flop. I mean, maybe that's true, but I don't know. That's definitely not something I feel like I could wield as like a, hey, here's why you should be hype about the PS5 Pro. Like it's hard not to be, but yeah, dude, it's just the PS5 Pro is going to speak for itself. It's honestly not going to need, you know, like it's not going to need I think a buzzword like that to get people excited. I think again, I maintain that the best way for Sony to sell the PS5 Pro is just show what it can do for games. Show new games and show how much better they can look on it and how much better they can run. And we have Whiskey Gaming coming in, keeping the membership train going today. Whiskey Gaming drops a 5-bomb for you guys.
Say hello to democracy.
Again, that's the only working soundbite I have. So Whiskey Gaming, thank you so much for that, man. You just brought us up to 7 members on the day. Love to see it. Thank you for the support, buddy. And Perfect Image says here, from a tech perspective, Sony changes the RAM and graphics card. I don't think there's any change to the RAM occurring, by the way. I think it's the same amount of RAM. What is there, 16 gigabytes, I think, right now? 16 gigabytes of RAM. Again, I think that's something that will be reserved for, you know, maybe faster RAM. Yeah, I think that, like, based on, again, I think that there are very minor improvements with the RAM and the CPU. Like, basically, they are just making it faster. I think in general, the PS5 Pro is going to be 45% faster than the PS5. I'm assuming that will result in, again, like better frame rates, more stable frame rates. You know what's weird to me, man, is everybody's making it seem like the PS5, like, I don't know. A lot of people are making it seem like the PS5 is some kind of really lacking console that's struggling. And I'm just, look, again, it's not perfect, but I started playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in the performance mode again. And while it's not the best looking, I've gotten used to it. I'm like, all right, maybe this isn't as bad as I thought originally. Maybe I was being a little bit hard on it. That, again, far from the best looking, but will I be getting some official Helldivers 2 merch? I did see that. Maybe. I'm not sure yet. I do like the mug where it says, how about a cup of liberty? That's pretty clever. I like that. It does look pretty expensive, though. We'll see. But I get what you're saying, man. Like, when it comes to Xbox fans, generally what I'm seeing right now is there's a bunch of different things I'm seeing, honestly. But generally speaking, it's not good, right? Like, I'm seeing Xbox fans that are clearly upset that Microsoft is not going to be doing a mid-gen refresh and Sony is. And now they seem to be getting doubly upset because Sony is doing a lot with the mid-gen refresh, and they're kind of just stuck with the Xbox Series S and X. And I've seen other people kind of frame it as like, oh, well, you know what? Doesn't matter because Microsoft's going to kick off the next generation ahead of Sony. The rumors are that Microsoft might even be targeting to release a next generation console by 2026. And if that is, if that is what Microsoft is planning on doing, then that means the PS5 Pro will have been out on the market for about 2 years. And then the PS5 Pro will be competing with what would be considered at the time a next generation Xbox in holiday of 2026. But I don't know that will really matter much because everybody will know that the PlayStation 6 is also right around the corner now. It might come later, but it will probably be better for it, And in the meantime, I think here's the real question, right? Here's the real question. If Microsoft, because maybe Microsoft is making a smart move here. Maybe it's smart, maybe it's dumb. It's hard to determine, but looking at it from the other way, maybe Microsoft is making a smart move by saying we're going to go first and we're going to kick off next gen early in 2026. Maybe this is smart because if they were to do a mid-gen refresh, then there's no chance they could kick off next generation early. So maybe they're kind of taking the short-term loss for what they, I guess, would perceive as a more long-term gain. Let Sony have the spotlight for the next 2 years with the PS5 Pro, but then we're going to take that from them with the next generation Xbox. And at that point, Sony, see, here's where things could get really interesting though, right? Because, okay, maybe Microsoft could come out with a next generation Xbox in 2026 and have some games ready to go for it that look pretty good and exciting. And people are like, yeah, Xbox is really doing it. This new Xbox is way more powerful than the PS5 Pro. But by that point, Sony will be firing on all cylinders with their big AAA first-party games. And we know what Sony can do, what their studios can do at the end of a generation, especially on something like imagine what they could do with the PS5 Pro. So I guess what I'm trying to say is like Sony seems to be banking on, a mid-gen refresh that will be fully utilized. Fully tapped into by their first-party studios and hopefully supported in a significant way by third parties. Microsoft is seemingly going to lean very heavily on the we need to get people hyped up for next gen again already. And that's what's so bizarre to me, man, is like people are seemingly expressing so much frustration at the PS5 Pro coming out at the end of this year, but I've seen almost nobody expressing frustration at the idea of Microsoft starting a new generation in just 2 years. You see what I'm saying? Where it's like, I just don't understand. Like, I don't understand the level of animosity that people have for PlayStation right now when it comes to some of the things that they're doing. So, like some of the stuff, I get it. I understand some of the frustration, but it's bizarre to me, man. That like, could you imagine if Sony was out here saying, yeah, we're planning to release the PlayStation 6 in 2026. Like, that would be nuts, in my opinion. The Pro, I think, is just going to essentially ensure that Sony can have a relatively smooth second half of the PS5 generation, where, we won't have to have so much struggle with potential issues with frame rates or, resolutions or something like that. But I get it. Dude, if I would look, man, if I was an Xbox fan and I had Microsoft hyping up the Xbox One, I was there for the Xbox One X. Microsoft hyping it up, 6 teraflop monster, much better than the PS4 Pro. And then at the start of the next generation, hype it up again, 12 teraflops. And then just after that, it's like, yeah, now we're done. Now we're just going to let Sony take it. I would be I'd be pretty upset and pissed, man. I would be. We have Michael Werniff, member for 4 months, says, enjoy the memberships and welcome to the MBG community. And then he drops a 10 bomb on you guys. Michael Werniff coming in, keeping the membership train going today, dropping 10 membership gifts and telling you guys to enjoy them. Welcoming you to the MBG community. Michael, thank you so much for that, bro. That's very nice of you. Thank you for dropping that 10 bomb.
Say hello to
It's the only soundbite I can play for you today. I wish the soundbites worked. I really have no idea what happened. But Michael, thank you for dropping 10 membership gifts. You just brought us up to 17 members on the day. I'm going to update that in just a moment. Appreciate all of you guys continually showing your support here for the content. As a reminder, this channel, this content, it is all fan-funded. I really enjoy being able to have these conversations with you guys, talk about gaming, and you make that possible. Yeah, I hear you, Jay Shako. I really have no idea what went wrong, but let me update the counter here. So we're very close now. We're very close to hitting 25 memberships. You guys know how it goes. If we hit 25 memberships towards the end of the stream, I will bring Boss in and give him some snacks. He should be good for right now, though. Just so you know, I did feed him right before I went live. Did Boss destroy my sound bites? No, I really have no idea what happened. I'm gonna have to look deeper into it. Maybe they just have to be reprogrammed. Hold on, actually.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't know why. It just registered in my brain. Took me 2 streams later. Just registered in my brain that I had the number lock turned on. Or off, I mean. And my sound bites are attached to my number pad. That's all it was.
Holy shit.
Holy shit, MBG. What is wrong with you, bro? Now that's a bro moment right there. You know what? I'm relieved though, because I thought I was going to have to do some kind of major overhaul to get it fixed. But as I say that, we have Hellbound 1981. Hellbound 1981, another legend, dropping 5 more membership gifts for you guys. I know why Hellbound's dropping his memberships. Of course, it's for the community, but we know it's mostly for Boss. Anytime Boss is mentioned, Hellbound is there. He wants to see Boss get his snack. So we're just 3 away from hitting the first goal. Thank you guys for making that happen. Yeah, W's in the chat. I can use this.
It's dangerous to
Here we
rely
go.
on teraflops as an absolute.
We're going to talk
indicator of
teraflops.
performance.
Mark Cerny's going to tell you about the teraflops. It's dangerous. The teraflops. Listen, Mark Cerny literally told us teraflops are dangerous, people. All right? Teraflops are dangerous. How funny would it be, though, if the next time Mark Cerny comes out, he's like, listen, I know I said teraflops are dangerous before, but let me tell you, this PS5 Pro, we're working with 33 teraflops. So, get hype. It would be so funny if Sony decided to market the PS5 Pro with the teraflops. I mean, who knows? Who knows what they're going to do? And Michael Werniff drops another membership for you guys. Michael Werniff, keeping it going here. Really appreciate that, Michael. Oh, wait, hold on. He's dropping a second one. I think he's going to try to do it. I think Michael's going to try to get us to the 25 mark. He got us to 24. Let's see. Let's see if he does it. We're all waiting. Boss is waiting. He's anticipating those snacks. Let me see.
Kept you waiting, huh?
Man, I can't wait to see more Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake. Apparently, we're going to be seeing it soon. I did want to talk to you guys about that a little bit later. Oh, hold on now. Michael's coming in with the $2 super chat, and actually his 20th time super chatting. Michael, thank you for that, man. Saying who is going to make it 25. Michael's calling on you guys. He's calling on you guys, and Whiskey Gaming does it. Whiskey Gaming takes it home. And just like that, we did it. We did it, guys. Whiskey Gaming, thank you so much. Michael, Hellbound, all of you guys who've been gifting memberships. Really appreciate that. So we're sitting at 25. Hellbound's keeping it going, man. Something tells me Hellbound was trying to be the 25th one, but instead, he'll take the 26th. So Hellbound's keeping it going today. Really appreciate that, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So I'll make sure before the end of the stream, and just remind me, I shouldn't forget because I'm sure Boss will be clawing at the door, but just remind me to bring Boss in and we'll give him some of his treats and some of his snacks. Let me update the member goal really quick and we will continue our conversation. Oops. Okay. There we are. Thank you guys for that. We have, make sure I didn't miss anything. We have Venino, member for 1 month, saying 33 teraflops is nothing in 2024. That may be close to a 3080. 2020, which aged terribly. What we have to pay attention to is the PSSR, especially if they beat FSR. Yeah, that's another important point, Venino. The teraflop conversation does seem to be even more relevant this time around because, like you're saying, like 33 teraflops compared to, you know, maybe what's out there with some GPUs or just, you know, some PC builds, it's like it's really not that crazy. I mean, for the console, yeah, for the console, it's pretty significant, but I'm in agreement. You're saying that we should really be paying attention to the PSSR or the PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution. I really think that if there's anything that's going to give us a clear idea of the way forward for Sony and how they're going to really keep a good-looking image for their games while doing more under the hood, so to speak, for frame rates and performance, I think it's going to be that. And we have Laurent. Laurent coming back in here, dropping a membership gift for you guys. Laurent is keeping this membership train going today. Laurent, thank you so much, man. You just brought us up to
Thank you.
27
Appreciate
members.
it.
You've been supporting the channel a lot lately, man, and really appreciate it, buddy. So let's get some W's flowing in the chat for our good friend Laurent here. But this PSSR, you know, upscaling technology, reportedly it is going to be better than FSR. And I think the thing that people are going to be waiting to see is it going to really be a true competitor to like DLSS 3.5 or something like that? And maybe it will be. It would have to do quite a bit, but I do think that Sony will also have that advantage. And it's funny because I saw some people saying that this is kind of like a negative, but I don't really see it that way. I think Sony will have the distinct advantage of their first-party development teams will be able to basically showcase, like, this is what PSSR can do on the PS5 Pro. And of course, places like Digital Foundry are going to analyze the shit out of it and make it known like just how impressive or maybe not it actually is. But something tells me, if Mark Cerny's the one working on it, that they're going to really try to make this something that, is going to get off to a strong start. But it's also worth pointing out that this PSSR, super resolution, or the spectral resolution, I keep forgetting that's what they call it. This is something that they plan to iterate on. This is something that they plan to improve, just like we see with FSR and DLSS. There's new iterative versions, improved versions. It's a technology that's evolving. It's very interesting because I guess this was really the natural way forward, rather than just putting, again, like bigger and better GPUs in. Of course, that will always be a part of it, but it's about the software as well. Although I guess it's run by the GPU, but yeah, I don't think it'll be better than what NVIDIA is doing. But if it could be like on the same level, I think that would impress a lot of people. I think that would impress a lot of people for sure. But let's talk about the timing of the PS5 Pro release. The PS5 Pro, I'm going to bring up the Insider Gaming article here. So at the very bottom of the article, it says Insider Gaming understands that the PS5 Pro is currently aiming for a tentative holiday 2024 release, but the date could be changed due to the lack of first-party games released on the PlayStation 5 this year. I feel like this is going a bit underreported. In fact, I haven't seen really anybody talking about this, and I think this is quite significant because I do feel that it would be not as bad, truthfully, as people think or some people make it sound if Sony doesn't have any big first-party releases ready to go with the PS5 Pro. We have Bobby Means. Bobby Means decides to join in on the membership train here. Welcome to Greatness Awaits, Bobby Means. Thank you so much for showing that support, man. You just brought us up to 28 members today, which is great to see. So enjoy some of your perks, man. And again, thank you for supporting me directly, Bobby. Good stuff.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
When is Sony going to talk? They haven't even acknowledged this console's existence. I think that they fully expected this. Yeah, I think Sony fully expected that once the specifications were out there to all third-party developers, they were going to leak. They knew this was going to happen. They definitely anticipated it. Does it mean they're going to talk sooner than expected? I don't think so. I think the PS5 Pro is not going to be discussed until late, like much later this year, probably late summer, if I had to guess, maybe like September. It would be nice if they talked about it sooner, but I don't think they will. I think they're just going to stay the course. But the reason why I don't think it would be nearly as detrimental for Sony to launch a PS5 Pro with no big first-party releases is because I just don't think it's necessarily needed, considering the target audience, right, that they're trying to hit. The target audience that they're trying to hit is the enthusiast PlayStation market, the enthusiast console gamer, the one that I would say probably doesn't need a Ghost of Tsushima 2 at the launch of a PS5 Pro in order for them to be excited to buy a PS5 Pro. I think that the target audience for the PS5 Pro is the audience that just wants to know what's coming. And as long as they know what's coming, as long as they see what's coming, it'll be very easy for them to invest into the PS5 Pro. And so, to me, the only thing that makes me nervous about hearing that Sony is considering delaying it is, the question has to be asked, what is Sony going to have ready to show this year for us? Like, we already know that we're not getting a Ghost of Tsushima 2 or a Venom game or Death Stranding 2 or Wolverine, or any new IP from like Naughty Dog or Sony Bend. We already know that that's not happening this year when it comes to releases. Sony already made it known. But we do have to ask, okay, so maybe you're not releasing any of this stuff. How much of the stuff are you going to announce and show off? Because I look at it like this. If Sony knows they're going to be launching a PS5 Pro this holiday, well, let's say they do a showcase in May or June. I mean, maybe the timing of it is what's awkward, right? Maybe it's, do we talk about the PS5 Pro in June, knowing it's not going to release till November? Well, no. Let's wait till September. Okay, in the meantime, we're going to show off Ghost of Tsushima 2. So I think what'll be imperative is that whenever Sony does decide to reveal the PS5 Pro, they have to make it known that, like, this is what we're launching alongside of it as well. You know? Or not alongside it, but what... Let me rephrase that. That's actually the opposite of what they're going to say. This is what we have coming down the line for the PS5 Pro as well. So if you decide to buy a PS5 Pro, rest assured, Death Stranding 2, fully supporting it. Ghost of Tsushima 2, fully supporting the Pro. Wolverine, fully supporting the Pro. The Venom game from Insomniac, fully supporting the Pro. I'm telling you, I think this will be enough to get people excited. People have these conversations frequently. Very frequently, where it's like, Sony doesn't have anything. Sony doesn't have any games. And I get it. Sony hasn't really announced anything. But there's this disconnect and this misunderstanding that Sony doesn't need to literally release game after game after game this year or next year in order for people to actually be excited. I just want to remind people that Microsoft had a showcase last year that everybody was super excited about for games that were not set to release for like another year or longer. And everybody was okay with that. And you would think that people would look at that and understand, like, this is how it works. The imperative for Sony, in my opinion, in 2024 is to lay the foundation, right? Like, you need to show people not just the PS5 Pro, that's a part of it, but you need to show people the games that you have in the works. You have to, because if Sony can't do that successfully this year, it's going to be a nightmare. It will be a nightmare. Like, we cannot have another bad showcase. We can't have a situation where the only games that Sony's talking about is Death Stranding 2 and Concord. That will not be acceptable. And that will not be enough to convince people to buy a PS5 Pro. So I think the smartest way for Sony to do this is have a showcase in May or June. Make sure you show off a couple of new first-party games there. And then when you do your second showcase in September, that's going to mainly focus on the PS5 Pro. Make sure you just make people aware that, yes, these games that we announced are going to be PS5 Pro ready or enhanced. And here are the games that are coming now, whether that be from second or third party, that are also going to be PS5 Pro enhanced. I think that's how they successfully launched a PS5 Pro this year, with a lack of big first-party games. That's my opinion anyway. Sony needs a strong marketing. They need strong marketing this year to maintain sales. Yeah, I agree. I think, see, I worry that Sony is really just dropping the ball marketing-wise, where I just feel like there's so much more they could be doing, and they're just choosing not to. You know? Like, I was... it's kind of funny, because I was... watching some stuff or looking up some stuff around the time of the PS4 Pro, and seeing like some of these trailers and some of these presentations and the way that Sony was interacting with the fan base and the way that they were marketing the PlayStation 4, it really is very different from how they handle things now. And I don't know why they're doing it this way. Because when I was watching this stuff, I'm like, dude, this is so, like, what Sony was doing during the PS4 generation in terms of just communication and interaction with the fan base and, just talking essentially. Like it was way more exciting than anything we're seeing now. And I wish that they would kind of go back to that a little bit. Jake Skew28 with a $5 super chat saying, teaching a coworker how to play Helldivers 2 right now, and he can play the first one. I've never played the first Helldivers. I do wonder, though, how many people, after playing Helldivers 2, actually went back to give Helldivers 1 a shot. Something that seems clear to me is that Helldivers 1 is very different from the sequel, but I wish your coworker luck, man. Helldivers is definitely, I wouldn't say it's the easiest game to learn. Like, I think it's just easy to kind of pick up and play and like move around, but I do think that there's definitely a bit of a learning curve there where you gotta know what you're doing, I think, to stand any chance in Helldivers. I think it can be a bit daunting at first. So I wish your coworker the best of luck, Jake Skew. And thank you for the super chat, man. Really, you think so? I see somebody in the chat, Portal Ash, saying Helldivers 2 is so easy. I mean, in some ways it is, but I would say in order to be successful, I think the most difficult part is not just learning the mechanics, but learning how those mechanics interact with your teammates as well. And how they can work for or against you and your team. COVID has changed the way every company is doing things. It's like we are still in the COVID exhaustion. And that sucks, dude. I get it. I understand that COVID changed it, but I think Sony's going to realize that at some point they're going to have to start leaning more on their core audience. And what I mean by that is they're going to have to start speaking more directly to us and stop being in the shadows so much. Like, I don't know. There was just a different energy. It's hard to explain, man. Like when Sean Layden was at PlayStation Experience and when Mark Cerny was out there talking about the PS4 Pro and, I know that the days of seeing like Naughty Dog go out and do demos of their games and stuff, I know that that's over, but it just really felt like when looking back at that Sony really did interact seemingly with the fan base very differently than they do now. And it's not to say that they don't do anything now. They still do things now and they can be exciting. Like, for example, what we just got in January with that State of Play. That was an awesome State of Play. And it was great to get something like that. But I guess it's just knowing that following that State of Play, it's just you have no idea at that point. Like, and even then, like, I'm telling you, man, even after that State of Play, like, you walk away with the realization, like, man, that was great. Did Sony announce any new first-party stuff? No. Oh, shit. Okay. Well, I guess we still got to wait for that. So maybe it's just the nature of these development cycles being so long anymore. But I do think that the major investment in live service, I think that did kind of mess up how frequently they could communicate with us. I think that's why there was no showcase in 2022. I think that's why first party has been, I would say, unusually quiet for so long when it comes to announcements. At least that's my hope anyway. You're saying their presentations are secretly for investors? I mean, yeah, kind of. I will say, like, that is one of the weird things with Jim Ryan that I noticed with the live service stuff is he really was trying to sell Sony's investors on live service, and I think that kind of explains why in Jim Ryan's eyes that the showcase last year was so good, because I think he was just missing the fact that, like, dude, your showcase, it's probably more appealing to investors, at least when it comes to what you're doing, what Sony is doing game wise. But when it comes to the fan base, I assure you, like, this is not appealing to the fan base. Or at the very least, it could be much more appealing. You know, people are going to expect more. So it was definitely awkward, and it's interesting to think, guys. Here's something else that's interesting to think. The next PlayStation showcase, whenever it might be, it's not going to be underneath Jim Ryan. It's going to be under Hiroki Totoki. Dude, I'm telling you, I don't think Hiroki Totoki is going to have anything to do with the next PlayStation showcase. Like, I think he's like out of his depth for something like that, where he's like, Herman, what do you think would be best? You still remember Herman's tweet after the showcase? Me too. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. Ever since that showcase happened, it just feels like there's been a string of bad luck for PlayStation. Showcase happens. People kind of shit on Sony for months after that. Then we hear about live service games getting canceled. Then there's some drama with Spider-Man 2. Then Insomniac gets hacked. Then we find out there's problems with Bungie. Then we go into 2024. Then there's mass layoffs. There's a good state of play, but then, you know, again, the layoffs are good. So it's pretty clear that, like, dude, yeah, and the whole Activision Blizzard thing last year as well. So I know it's not just me. You know, when I sit here and I think, like, man, why does it feel like shit has just kind of not been great or even good most of the time when it comes to the conversation surrounding PlayStation? When you kind of look back and you see how clearly these things have happened in just one after the other, after the other, after the other, it's just been like a domino effect, I guess. And that's why I am thinking that what could ultimately change this, what could really just turn the whole ship around, so to speak, in terms of the conversation, I guess, is having a really good showcase, you know, showing people new games, new first-party games. I think that would change everything, to be honest. John, you're saying Jim really fucked up this generation. Yeah, it's funny because it's not funny, but it's interesting that I think Jim was like I look at him and his time as the PlayStation CEO as like a 50-50 situation, where on one side, he didn't destroy the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation console. And I have to use the word destroy because, like, he was able to ensure that the momentum of the PS4 carried over into the next gen, and he ensured that the PS5 launched successfully and that the PS5 had games at launch and for, you know, at least the majority of the first half of the generation. But it seems like, on the other hand, where he totally fucked up was his fixation on live service and his over-ambition with live service and his overestimation of live service. And I think that, you know, these two things, I think, will essentially cancel each other out. Because think about this for a moment. Imagine how much worse things could be for PlayStation right now if Jim Ryan not only fucked up the launch of the PS5, but also, not only fucked up the live service situation, but also fucked up the launch of the PS5. Things would be truly dire for PlayStation if both of those things occurred. So you got to at least give him the credit that he successfully launched the next generation of PlayStation, and he kept players happy for, I would say, most of the time. But now I think we are now experiencing the kind of the negative ramifications of the second half of Jim Ryan's tenure as PlayStation CEO was, I think, very detrimental. And I think, to be honest, Sony, I almost said Sony got him out of there just in time, but maybe he got out just in time. Maybe it was a mutual thing. Maybe Jim Ryan realized he's in over his head and he doesn't want to make things worse, or maybe Sony asked him to step down. Either way, I think he left at just the right time, where it's like, okay, this was this close to going right off a cliff, dude. And they like, I feel like Sony kind of stopped at that point where the vehicles like the front wheels of the vehicle are kind of hanging over. It's like, if we back up slowly, we can save this thing. Like we can stop this from going all the way down to the bottom and exploding, and we could save this. That's kind of the feeling I get. Why did they fire Connie Booth if Jim was the problem? I think that's just the nature of the beast. I think Connie Booth was tasked by Jim Ryan to, hey, this is your job, right? Like, your job is to produce games. You've produced all these PlayStation games. Now you need to produce some live service games. And I think that Connie Booth was probably ill-equipped to do that, because she, like, to be honest, she had all these years of experience in PlayStation, but probably minimal to no experience in producing actual live service games. And so it seems like what had happened is the biggest mistake that Jim Ryan, I think, likely made is he just tried to flip PlayStation internally. And I don't think he realized, and even if he did realize, I don't think maybe he was, again, overly optimistic. That's like, if you're going to try to flip PlayStation internally, like, heads are going to roll. Like, some people are not going to survive that, metaphorically speaking, right? Like, they're going to be losers. There are going to be teams and individuals that are not going to adjust to this because it's too rapid, it's too different, it's too abrupt. And I think that's the unfortunate reality, is that that's what happens with poor leadership sometimes. Is it starts with just the leader, the person up top saying, this is what we're going to do, this is our new vision, and you guys are the players that are going to execute on that, right? You guys are going to execute this vision. And Connie Booth can't turn to Jim Ryan and say, no, I'm not going to produce live service games. She literally couldn't do that, because that's, like, Jim Ryan's like, you need to do your job. And if you can't do it effectively, then... And so, I guess, long story short, or long story long, I get the feeling that internally at Sony, the higher-ups, like Hiroki Totoki and possibly Sony's actual CEO, Kenichiro Yoshida, I think that they started to kind of see, like, oh, what is going on over here? Like, I think that there were some fires that needed to be put out. And I think Jim and everybody at PlayStation were trying really hard to make sure that these fires did not, were not going to be seen by the higher ups at Sony. And I think the moment that they were like, holy shit, why is a bunch of stuff on fire over here? They came in and they cleaned up, and they were like, yeah, this is no. Like, all of this is a problem, and we need to clean this shit up. And so when people make the joke, although I don't think it's a joke, when they say Hiroki Totoki is basically here to clean up Jim Ryan's mess, I do think that is the case, yes. But that's the nature of the beast, man. Like, people, I can't sit here and say that I would have done a better job than Jim Ryan. I don't know. I mean, it would be easy for me to say that, but I'm sure that Jim just really thought that this would be the best way to go. But I think he just bet on either the wrong. If he didn't bet on the wrong horse, he definitely placed too many bets at one time on too many different horses. And I think it's clear that no, that's not how this is going to work. Dan, you're saying nothing's on fire? No, there's definitely some things that were on fire. But that's the thing. Like, there's a difference between, we're speaking metaphorically here, of course, but there's a difference between, something being on fire and needing to put that fire out so it doesn't spread versus, the whole building is burning down. I think what you mean to say, Dan, is that the building, again, sticking with the metaphor, the house isn't burning down. It's just there was a fire and it needed to be put out very quickly. And it was a dangerous fire that could have easily spread. And maybe it did spread a little bit, right? Maybe it spread to one room, and so one room's destroyed. And that's again, that's kind of how I view it, because to say that there was no fires, I think is frankly disingenuous, you know. But that's the nature of the beast. Every video game company, every video game development team, they have these fires that we're talking about here, you know? They occur, they happen. It's the reality of it. And that's part of upper management, is to ensure that when the shit starts to hit the fan, mitigate just how far it spreads. Just how, you know, how far reaching it goes, or it is. And I think that's you know, you're saying Jim got laid off. You said he was pushed out. He's still doing interviews. He's still in the public. He was allowed to stay to the end of the year. He was not let go. Here's what I think, Dan. I don't think Jim Ryan was pushed out. I think that's obvious. I mean, I've been kind of talking about it as if he was. I think what happened is Sony basically told him, like, listen, you need to step down as CEO. Like, you can stay at place, like, because he's still very. I think what people don't realize is Jim Ryan. You have to think, how did he get to that position in the first place? They didn't just throw him in that position. He had to work his way up to it. He knows what he's doing in a lot of areas. But I think that in the area of being a CEO, Sony, it was like, we're going to have to ask you to step down, and we're going to have to replace you and bring in a new CEO. But you can still remain like the head of whatever for PlayStation, but you just can't make all the decisions anymore. Like, you can't be the CEO anymore. And I think when he was presented with that, he probably just decided, you know what? I'd rather retire. I'd rather go out on what I guess what would be considered a high note. You're acting like this is a movie. It's not that serious. But those things happen all the time, dude. PS Gamer with a $10 super chat here. Thank you for that, PS Gamer. You're saying, off topic update on PlayStation Portal. I was traveling in a different state a couple of days ago and playing the Portal with good Wi-Fi. I was surprised how good it was. The experience, there was no lag. No lag. Need a dedicated handheld. Okay. Well, I appreciate you giving me that update, PS Gamer. That's actually, to me, the most interesting. One of the more interesting things. I don't know if it's the most, but one of the more interesting things I've heard about the PlayStation Portal, because I've been wondering this whole time, like, how does it function when you are away from your home? Now, you're saying you traveled to a different state, and you say here you had good Wi-Fi. So that seems to confirm to me that as long as you have a good Wi-Fi connection with the PS Portal, you can pretty much use it anywhere in the world. I mean, that's pretty awesome when you think about it. Saying you didn't experience any lag. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to get a PlayStation Portal at this point. I mean, I haven't really been looking into it, but I think, like, eventually, I'd like to think eventually I will get a Portal. And when I do, I would like to, try it out myself away from the home as well. I don't know if I would necessarily travel to another state, but I'd be really interested to see. I mean, I know I could use it on my phone, but I don't know. There's a reason why I don't do remote play on my phone, because it's just, to me, it's not ideal. But then again, I don't know that I have much of a reason to use remote play in general. But yeah, if I do ever get the PlayStation Portal, I'll be sure to give you my thoughts on it. Yeah, absolutely. It's not at the top of my list right now, but one day. So PS Gamer, I appreciate that update, man. And I'm glad to hear it's working well for you. Hold on. I saw somebody said that, where are you getting all this info, MBG? These are wild allegations. Well, okay. It's all speculation. And to be honest, I don't think it really matters at this point. I guess I just was kind of going down that road again. Got a little bit off topic. But, well, I mean, it's not necessarily off topic, but rehashing the conversation about, like, did Jim Ryan truly retire? Like, did he truly choose to retire? Or was he forced to retire? Source, I made it the F up. No, well, I guess I apologize if it was coming off as if I'm telling you guys that this is what happened. I thought it was kind of implied that I'm just speculating, of course. You know what? I will say this, though. This is something that's actually officially confirmed. Jim Ryan, in one of his outgoing interviews, did confirm that he has something else in the works. It almost makes you wonder, like, if, I don't know, man, if maybe he got another job offer that he couldn't pass up. Does it really matter? Let it go. I'll never let it go. Ron, you're saying, man, this week will be pretty scary for me. Yeah. Yeah, that sucks, man. I can't imagine. Well, try to stay strong, you know? That's all we can really do, I guess. Hope for the best. Gaming Survivor. I don't think that's what Jim Ryan's doing, man. But I do know, Gaming Survivor, if that is what Jim Ryan's doing, I know you'll be the first. You'll be the first there, ready to go. Absolutely. That's funny, man. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to bring up my video from yesterday. Give me just a moment. And I want to read, all right, guys, some of the comments. I'm going to read some of the comments, okay? I think this will be a pretty interesting exercise. Before I do that, though, we have Laman, a member for 9 months, says, you're the best predictor. Do you think Naughty Dog... I wouldn't say that. I mean, I appreciate that, Laman. I don't know if I agree, though. The best? Maybe. Do I think Naughty Dog and Santa Monica have a new IP? Also, which studio should Sony buy? Alan Wake 2 flopped. Too bad. Well, before I answer that, Laman, I got to give a shout out to Fishy Queefs coming in. Fishy Queefs coming in out of nowhere. He knows I just love saying his name. Dropping another 5 bomb for you guys. Another 5 memberships gifted. Keeping the membership train going. Fishy Queefs, I feel like it's been a while, man. But thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Dark Horse says that name, yes. It is quite the name, but I have to keep it professional. I have to announce the names. I mean, I would say it's not an offensive name. It's not offensive. It's just a bit jarring. Not offensive, just jarring. But Fishy, thank you so much for that, man. Let me give you another soundbite here. Which one should I do?
Enough from me. We're gonna have the games to our talk.
There you go. It's only appropriate we use the famous Jim Ryan quote. So you brought us up to 33 members on the day. Thank you guys so much for continuing to show such great support to the channel and to myself and to the community. Getting back to what Laman said, though, do I think Naughty Dog and Santa Monica both have a new IP? Well, yes. Yeah. It's pretty much confirmed at this point that both Naughty Dog and Santa Monica are working on a new IP. Neil Druckmann seemed to like basically confirm in an interview, or I think maybe it was revealed with the Grounded documentary, that The Last of Us Part 3 is something that he would like to do, but he only like recently in like the last, I guess maybe the last year or two or something like that, he only just now figured out what he would want it to be about. So there's like no way that Naughty Dog's next game is going to be The Last of Us Part 3. But eventually they'll probably do it. And Fishy Queefs comes in again with a $5 super chat. And he says, "What's up, MBG? I haven't been around for a bit because of work, but just wanted to jump in real quick." Well, thank you so much for that, man. I appreciate it. I see a lot of you guys. You guys, I know, you have things you got to do, whether it's work related or just life related. And I know you can't tune in all the time, but a lot of you guys try to join in when you can and show some support, drop some membership gifts or some super chats. And I really appreciate that. That means a lot. It really means a lot that you guys are, still taking time out of your day to just come in and show some support. So thank you guys. And as I say that, we have Corey the Legend Landiga coming in, dropping 5 more memberships. And then Laurent follows up Corey and drops 5 more memberships. So 10 memberships gifted, 15 in total between Fishy, Corey, and Laurent. Thank you guys so much. Laurent, thank you for the 5 bomb as well, bro. That brings us to, let me see here. Just like that, we are now sitting at 43 members on the day. So we are just 7 away now from crushing a second goal. You guys are killing it today. Love to see it, man. A very supportive community here. And I will ask you guys, by the way, please hit that like button. We're sitting at 187 likes. We're very close to 200 likes. I'd really appreciate that. Yeah, good stuff, guys. I got to...
Holy shit.
That's for you guys. Dropping those 5 bombs. Laman, you're asking me which studio should Sony buy. Right now, I think the obvious answer to that is they need to buy Arrowhead. I would be very surprised if Sony doesn't acquire Arrowhead. If they don't acquire Arrowhead, I'm going to assume it's because they just decided they're too expensive now. But I would hope that they could get their hands on them because, I mean, again, Arrowhead is finding a lot of success with Helldivers 2. I mean, a lot of success. And Sony owns that IP. So it's like, it makes a lot of sense for them to just kind of come together that way. And we have Codename X. Codename X is coming in out of nowhere saying, you know what? I'm going to pay it forward. I'm going to drop a membership gift as well. I'm going to keep this membership train going. So Codename X brings us up to 44 members. And we have Titus coming in. Titus comes in as well. He wants to see the membership train keep going here. He drops a membership gift, bringing us up to 45. And just like that, Jake Skew 28 follows it up with a membership gift of his own. You guys are keeping this membership train rolling along here. Back to back to back membership gifts. You'll love to see it. So guys, if you are gifted a membership, take advantage of the perks. One of those perks is access to the Members Lounge. While I may not be able to do a Members Lounge today, I assure you there are plenty of Members Lounge episodes you can watch. And to all of my members in the chat right now, you can, maybe let any new members know what goes on in these Members Lounges. I guess what I'm trying to tell you is that they're not necessarily... I don't want to say they're like all evergreen, but a lot of the topics that we talk about in many of these Members Lounge episodes, you can kind of jump in at any time and enjoy them because we talk about a bunch of stuff, man. Like we're all over the place in a good way. And we have Fishy Queefs. He just wants me to keep saying his name. Fishy, I feel like I remember you changed your name to something else a while ago, and then you changed it back to this. But Fishy comes in and drops 5 more memberships. And then on top of that, we have Hellbound 1981. The legends are coming out, showing incredible support today. Another 5 bomb from Hellbound. That crushes the goal. We are beyond 50 members. We are now sitting at 56 members. So thank you to everybody who is showing support today for the stream, for the channel. It means a lot, guys. It really does. I'm only able to do this the way I do it thanks to your support. And there we go. Oops, hold on. I messed that all up. There we go. We are now sitting at 56 members on the day. Love to see it, guys. I forgot to give... which soundbite should I use here?
Do not be sorry. Be better.
I feel like I haven't used that one in a long time. Should I do some reps today? I'll be honest with you guys. I'm only going to promise reps if we get to 75 members today. Dude, I feel like shit today. To be like totally honest, I feel like complete shit today. And I think it's because I did too much yesterday. I did a lot yesterday. I worked out. I was got some work done on the channel. I did a lot of yard work, and I think I just basically, I didn't quite think about how it was going to leave me feeling the next day. I don't think I paced myself accordingly. But bring in Boss, please. Don't worry. I will be bringing him in. I just want to make sure I get through all of our conversations and discussions before I do. Because, dude, once I bring Boss in, you guys know. It's all downhill from there. Irvin, you're saying I seem a little bit down since the stream started. Yeah. I don't mean to come off that way. I also don't want to force anything though either, I don't want to feel like I have to come in and be like, "All right, guys, I feel like shit today, but hey, let's just act crazy excited for no reason." I just got to go with the flow, Corey, you're never going to let me live this down. I know that my dentures are impending. I mean, dude, I won't lie. Some of this probably is due to anxiety about tomorrow, no doubt. But it's mainly a sinus headache that I'm suffering from, which, again, I think it's mostly allergies. So thank you guys for bearing with me. Laurent, you're asking, MBG, are you okay? I'm mostly okay. Yeah. A little nervous about tomorrow, but hey, man, trust me, Laurent. If there's, I'm not I don't say this to make you feel bad, but you're definitely in the more serious situation, I have, I'll put it to you this way, Laurent. You are helping me feel at ease, and I hope that the stream is helping you feel, if not necessarily at ease, but maybe a little bit better. We're helping each other out. That's what I'm trying to say, and I appreciate it. I don't word these things the best sometimes. I know you guys know that. As long as you understand what I'm trying to convey and that it's something positive, that's all that matters. You're asking if I ever had a tooth pulled before? No, I have. When I was younger, though, way younger. Never had one of my adult teeth pulled, but I should feel better though, because that's the thing is the reason why I have to get this done is because I've been in a lot of pain. One of my teeth a long time ago, it chipped and it kind of broke, and it got infected somewhat recently, and from my understanding, once a tooth gets infected, you have to do something about it. It won't go away, which is kind of crazy to think about. Where it's holy shit, man. There's a lot, you think about all the different ways your body could get an infection and how the body can usually take care of it on its own. But apparently the teeth, it's one of those areas of the body where it's once a tooth gets infected, you can't really do anything about it. You have to get it professionally taken care of. So like back in the day, you're probably asking yourself, well, what did people back in the day do before like modern dentistry and modern healthcare? Well, did you ever watch Castaway? I haven't seen Castaway in so many years. It was a good movie. Yeah, why can't we be like sharks? Don't sharks have like an infinite amount of teeth? They lose a tooth, they just another one grows in. Why are we so limited? You're saying there's antibiotics? Yeah. From what I was told, the antibiotics are like temporary, where it will get rid of the infection, but there's a really good chance it'll come back. Unless there's like some kind of work done to the tooth or it's extracted. But yeah, if you ever watched Castaway, there's like that scene where Wilson, yeah, there's that scene where I guess he had like an infected tooth, and obviously he's stranded on an island, and it was getting pretty serious, and it would have killed him. Like the only way he could have he was able to save himself is he had to just brutally knock his own tooth out. I gotta watch that movie again though. It's been too long since I've seen it. Anyway, yeah, Wilson, man, you know it. I remember watching that too, and I'm like, this is crazy that this movie is making me feel sad about this man that is devastated that his volleyball is gone. Wilson was real, man. He was a real person to him. Anyway, getting way off track here. What were we talking about? Great actor. Tom Hanks is a good actor, yeah. I like Tom Hanks in Saving Private Ryan as well. Saving Private Ryan is a phenomenal movie. All right. Let me see what other So, okay, that's what I meant to do. I was supposed to read the comments. I knew there was something else I was supposed to do. Apollo 13? Yeah, true. Mage, you're saying you're a dentist? What's up, MBG? I hate dentists. I'm just kidding. I don't hate dentists. Forrest Gump. Yeah, dude. Shout out to Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump's one of my favorite movies of all time. I don't know how I talked about Tom Hanks and didn't mention Forrest Gump. That is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love that movie. If you haven't seen Forrest Gump, I highly recommend checking it out. I know it's not for everybody, but I think it's a fantastic movie. Man, Tom Hanks must be old. He has to be old now, right? How old is Tom Hanks? It's weird. Not to get too off track here. I guess it is relevant because it's technically in the domain of Sony and, you know, games becoming more cinematic. But I feel like I do not interact with cinema the same way that I did when I was younger. I just don't. Like, I don't really see movies that often anymore. I don't watch movies that often anymore. I feel like when I was younger, I was always watching movies. Is it just me? Maybe it is just me. Rich Rod 908, you're saying, remember that time you slapped Colt Eastwood? Fun. Well, hold on now. I don't recall ever slapping anybody, unless that's another metaphor. Rich Rod is here for the violence, man. Clearly. That's why Rich Rod is here. But Rich Rod, I appreciate the super chat, man. Gavin, you're saying, same MBG, I have every movie now. And old a few clicks away. Maybe watch 3 a year. Everything is streaming now. Yeah, I don't know. I would like to start watching more movies in general, but maybe I probably just had more time when I was younger. I bet you that's what it was. I probably just had more time. I was just naturally sitting in front of the TV. And that's the thing too, is like, I think there is something about streaming services, because if you remember with cable, right? If you had like the more premium cable packages where you get HBO, you get like Stars and all that different stuff where they're always playing movies. When you had cable, like you just had to flip through the channels and whatever was on. And you'd probably pick something pretty quick. You know, maybe you go through like 10, 15, 20 channels at most. And after you go through that, you're like, all right, I'm just going to go back to this channel because I'll watch whatever this is. I feel like with streaming services, it's just not that way anymore. You know, like you do kind of, it's not kind of, you do have more options. You do have more choice, but it's almost like, at least for me, when I have that much choice, it's almost like I almost feel like I'd rather can you just give me like 3 options or 4 options? Because this is overwhelming. I don't know what the hell any of this is. I don't know. Maybe it's just me though. Maybe I'm just trying to find an excuse as to why I don't really watch movies much anymore. Laman, you're saying here with a super chat, Phil Spencer lied about not putting games on PS5. Did he? Laman, are you able to elaborate on that a little bit? You're saying he lied about not putting games on PS5. When did he say he wouldn't put games on PS5? Unless you're talking about like other games like Starfield or whatnot. Is that what you're referring to? Because I don't recall Phil Spencer ever directly saying that he wouldn't put games on PS5. And we have Jake TRML keeping the membership train going today. Jake re-ups his membership, coming back to greatness awaits. He brings us up to 57 members. Thank you so much, Jake. I appreciate that. I appreciate all of you guys who are maintaining your memberships. It's very important to help support me in that way. So thank you guys for that.
Thank you.
That's for you, Jake.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, so if I'm Laman, you're saying before the press conference. Well, here's what I think, Laman. I think Phil Spencer is being purposely deceptive in the name of keeping the Xbox fan base calm. You know, like I think that he has to word things a certain way. He has to say things in a very specific way. But I think the reality of it is it's just like, yeah, we're basically slowly going third party. I just, I would have liked Microsoft to just say that, and they kind of did. They just did it in a really roundabout way, And Jake TRML, after re-upping his membership, decides to pay it forward and gifts a membership as well. He's keeping this membership train going. He brings us up to 58 on the day. Jake, thank you so much for that, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Love to see that. You re-upped your membership and you decided to pay it forward and gift one as well. Good stuff, bro. So before I end up completely forgetting about it, I'm looking at my video from yesterday. My video from yesterday, the title is PS5 Pro is an insane 33.5 teraflops. And yes, I titled it that way because I figured that's, hey guys, check out these 33 teraflops, right? Leaked specs are actually real. Let's go through the comments. Now, I don't have these comments in any particular order. This is just how YouTube is presenting them to me. First comment from Snoyfly says, I remember when teraflops was all that mattered to some when the Xbox Series X was announced, to have just 1.72 more teraflops than the PlayStation 5. But these people are silent now. 17 upvotes. That's actually a more... I don't know if that's a positive or a negative comment, but I wasn't expecting that to be the first comment, but there you go. I'll upvote that. Next comment in line. The Ghost of Pennsylvania says Mark Cerny isn't playing around. I love how like YouTube's like, we're gonna show you the positive comments now that you're reading them out loud. But I agree. Mark Cerny is not screwing around. The third comment is from Fresh Prince saying, I don't see them delaying it in regards to the PS5 Pro because no first-party releases were there for the PS4 Pro. I was showcasing games that were already out and coming, like Uncharted Lost Legacy, Horizon Zero Dawn, to which it released in 2017. Even still, older games were just patched depending on the developers. So that shouldn't be an issue at launch. And I actually appreciate this comment. I agree with that. Did you guys hear that? Man, I'm pretty hungry. My stomach's growling. That was a really loud stomach growl. Holy shit. But I agree with that. I kind of forgot that the PS4 Pro, I mean, I was looking at some of these presentations and I guess I kind of forgot. Like Horizon Zero Dawn didn't launch with the PS4 Pro. It launched the next year. Granted, you didn't have to wait that long. You know what I mean? I guess that's kind of the difference is Sony felt okay launching a PS5 Pro or PS4 Pro, I think it came out in November of 2016. Because they're like, look, we don't have Horizon Zero Dawn at the launch, but it's coming in just a couple months. So December, January, February, basically 3 months, you're getting a big first-party game. I don't know. Sony's not going to have that. Sony's not going to have a Horizon game or a Ghost of Tsushima. They're not going to have anything ready within seemingly, I mean, it sucks to say this because I don't know if this is going to be true or not, but Sony might not have a big AAA first-party game ready to go for the PS5 Pro until close to a year later. Think about that. That's tough. That is a little tough, you know? But I only say this because Sony made it clear that they're not going to have any big sequel, big AAA, massive games. They'll have games like Until Dawn and maybe a new Astro game, which obviously count for something, absolutely. But when it comes to like the big juggernaut games, they're not going to have any ready. I think up until March 31st of next year. So we're looking at a situation where the PS5 Pro could come out in November and we're not going to have a new first party like AAA game or a big one. Yeah, that's true, Chris. I mean, Chris B, you're saying they could have a AAA new IP. That's true. I guess it's just hard for me to bank on that because it feels a little bit like Hopium, where it's like I don't want to like assume that and then be disappointed when it's like, no, we're not going to have that ready either. You know what I mean? But you could be right. You could be right. Yeah, I don't. Maybe Sony. Yeah, maybe they intentionally left out. Talking about new IP because maybe you're right. Maybe. Well, let's think about it. Which game would be ready to go? I don't know. See, that's where things get kind of messy for me, right? Because it's like, how many PlayStation studios are working on new IP? Naughty Dog, Sony Bend, Santa Monica, Bluepoint. Sony Bend could be ready. Well, I don't know, man. Like, I'm thinking no new IP from Sony is going to be ready except for Concord this year. Like, I don't think we're going to see a Sony Bend game in September, October, November, December of this year. Unfortunately, I don't think we are. I don't know, but then the question becomes, so could we see it January, February, March of next year? That, to me, would be the saving grace for Sony. Is if Sony could come out in May or June of this year and be like, here's Sony Ben's new IP, and it's going to be ready to launch by March 2025 or February 2025. Like early 2025 is when we're shooting for. And assuming it doesn't get delayed, but it sounds too, I don't know, man. That's a short development time frame. They started their new IP in, I think, 2021. I don't know. Did they start it in 2020 or 2021? Venom. I don't think Venom will be ready until maybe like second or third quarter. Yeah, Irfan, I'm kind of with you on that one. You're saying, MBG, there's no way that they reveal a new AAA IP and release it in the same year. They've never done this. They could change how they do it, but that would be quite shocking. And I don't know. I want to be on the same level as Chris B, where it's like I want to hold out hope, but I also feel like I just have to be realistic and assume that this new IP is going to, that type of game takes the longest to develop. A new Astrobot game would be great, though. If we get some like interim games to hold us over, I'm totally cool with that. An Astrobot Until Dawn remaster looks good to me. Yeah, we really don't know about too much. If Concord turns out to be good, that would be great. A path traced Astro game. Oh yeah, that would be cool. Is Concord a PvP third person? Close. PvP first person. But yes, it's a PvP only game. Perfect Image. You're saying, MBG, so sorry for shortening my words at times. It's okay, man. You don't have to apologize. I try my best. Sometimes it's easier for me to understand than other times, but I just appreciate the support, man. You don't need to apologize. Let me continue with some of these comments, though. This comment has 37 upvotes. And it's from United We Stand Freedom. More rumor bullshit. I wish people would just wait. See, like, why does that have so many upvotes, though? Like, I get it. Like, people are tired of the rumors and the leaks, but like, dude, this is like the most credible source we could ever get for something like this. I feel like this is not the right time to leave that comment, bro. I'm just being honest. I don't think this is the right time to leave that comment. If this was just some kind of like, if it was like just Moore's Law is dead, sure. If it was some no-name person, sure. But I don't know. Saying people upvote anything. I mean, look, I think some of it is due to the frustration. I think it's the frustration bleeding through, and I get it. Like, when I read some of these comments, man, like, I just get this sense of there's like this brewing sense of frustration with they want to hear more from Sony. They do. I do. And I think it just comes through in a relatively negative way. Do I think a GTA trailer will be tied to the PS5 Pro reveal? I mean, if Sony wants to fucking go for the juggler, yeah. If Sony wants to end this shit before it even begins, yeah. But I don't know. That's a tough. I think Rockstar is like, we're just going to do shit on our own terms, man. But then again, we have to understand that Rockstar wants to impress people with GTA 6, which shouldn't be too hard to do. But I guess what I mean to say is Rockstar wants to present their game in the best possible way. And they also want to do so accurately. Rockstar doesn't bullshit. Rockstar's not going to show you a 4K 60 FPS ray traced PC version of GTA 6 knowing that they're not launching a PC version of GTA 6, at least not anytime soon. What they're going to show you is a console version. For example, people, when we got the first GTA 6 trailer, they thought that it was CG. And I tried telling people that's not what Rockstar does. Like Rockstar doesn't do CG. Like what you're seeing in that GTA trailer is how the game will look. Very, very close to it. Like, you know, maybe just some slight alterations to lighting potentially, but that's what the game will look like. And I don't think that was running on a PS5 Pro, but I could see a situation where, you know, right now Rockstar does have PS5 Pro dev kits. I wouldn't be surprised if the next trailer we see, I don't know if they'll straight up say it like in the trailer, like running on PS5 Pro, but I wouldn't be shocked if we find out after the fact that, yeah, that was captured on a PS5 Pro. That was PS5 Pro gameplay. Because, again, Rockstar wants to show off their game in the best possible light. They want it to look as good as it possibly can. And when you have a console like the PS5 Pro, which is more powerful than the base PS5, again, GTA 6 is only confirmed for the PS5, the Series X, and the Series S. So that actually sounds extremely plausible. Maybe even likely. The next comment, MacTube, he's talking about Metal Gear because we did cover Metal Gear in the video. He says, I'm still sad the way Kojima discarded David Hayter in Metal Gear Solid 5. I understand if you wanted to go in another direction, but the way it was handled was kind of disrespectful. I'm glad Hayter is still willing to be involved in the series, though. I kind of agree with that. Yeah, I was very shocked. I won't lie. I remember when we found out that Kojima got rid of David Hayter and replaced him with Kiefer Sutherland. I was pretty devastated. I kind of couldn't believe it. It took me a while to come to terms with that because I was like, dude, David Hayter is Snake, man. Like, that's Snake's voice. I'll never see Kiefer Sutherland. And I know, you know, there are story reasons why Kiefer Sutherland, and Kiefer Sutherland did a pretty good job, but yeah, David Hayter's Snake. But David Hayter, the reason why he was brought up in this comment was because he was recently featured in a video for Konami that is essentially talking about Metal Gear, the first collection, but he also says that there's going to be a dedicated like video, I guess, almost like a little deep dive video potentially for Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake or Metal Gear Solid Delta. That's coming soon. And he also seems to kind of hint that there's going to be a second collection. But yeah, it was cool to see him in that video. Games Industry Insider is the next comment with 6 upvotes saying they shouldn't delay it. I'm waiting to buy more until it comes. The next comment with 10 upvotes is how big will the PlayStation Pro version be? Or the Pro version be? It's a good question. It's a fair question. Probably pretty big. Pretty chunky, you know. The question is, will the PS5 Pro be as big as the base, like original base PS5? Because that's going to be hard to top, dude. That's a massive fucking console. William with 14 upvotes says, this is almost as good as a PlayStation 6. If these specs are legit, I'd be willing to pay over $500. I wouldn't say it's almost as good as a PS6. I think that's a bit of a stretch. But I do think that we are seeing some of the features that are going to be on the PlayStation and with the PlayStation 6 when it launches, but just even more so. We have another comment here from Osh, 24 upvotes. The GPU upgrade is awesome, but it isn't worth much without a powerful CPU and much higher memory bandwidth to accompany it. Staying with Zen 2 CPU and a tiny / insignificant upgrade in memory bandwidth is a deal breaker. I mean, I get where he's coming from. Like, you see, when I read a comment like this, to me, it's clear, like, that, yeah, the Pro isn't going to be for this person. What this guy is saying, basically what he's saying is he would like a PlayStation console with an upgraded CPU and more memory bandwidth. That's the PlayStation 6. This person's saying that they want the PlayStation 6, not the PS5 Pro, and that's totally fine. But that's essentially what they're saying. How do I like the new killer in Dead by Daylight? I actually really like him. Yeah, I've been playing as the new killer. I've been playing a lot more Dead by Daylight lately because of the new killer and Survivor, and I'm really liking it. Yeah. Been enjoying it. Darren Explores with 27 upvotes says, I'm going to keep my current PS5 and build a PC this year. I don't think it's needed. We haven't seen the full potential of the PS5. Well, I mean, that's not a bad way to go, to be honest. I mean, I do think that, yeah, definitely hold on to your current PS5. Hold on, B. Flesher, you're saying the controversy around the new killer is so funny? What controversy? Hold on now. B. Flesher, you got to enlighten me here, man. I haven't heard of... I mean, I haven't been following Dead by Daylight that closely. Like, I've just been engaging with it on a casual level, just playing it. I really like the way the new killer looks, man. Looks creepy as hell. I've played against the new killer a bunch as well. He's pretty powerful. Oh, geez. Oh, geez. Okay. I'm sorry I asked. I'm not looking into it. No. I'm not. I'm not. I don't. You know what? I thought it was something gameplay related, like he was OP or something, but it's more gender politics, and no thank you. I will say, all I will say is I'm not really sure where that... You're saying this is pertaining to the new killer? Dude, have people seen this killer? What? Wait, hold on. I have one other question to be Flesher before I get... I'm not gonna get roped in. Just one other question. Does this have to do with the extra costumes or the different versions of this killer that you can purchase in the shop? No, don't worry. I'm not going on another culture war rant. I promise. I'm not. I just need an answer to this last question. You got your PS3 fixed again. You can play your Legacy collection. Good stuff, man. I guess we're kind of at that point where people's PS3s might start breaking. Oh, okay. All right, B. Flesher. Yeah, I'm not touching that. I'm good, bro. I'm not touching that. You know what? I'm just going to pretend. I'm just going to erase the last 3 minutes. I'm just going to pretend that this conversation never happened. I don't know what you're talking about. See, this is why it's so much better, dude, in life to just not pay attention to most things. Because, like, I didn't know about this. I would have never known about it. I'm not blaming you, B. Flesher. I did ask you to tell me. But it's like, if I had just played the game and never looked any further, I would have never known. I would just be blissfully ignorant, enjoying the game and having fun. And I think more people need to do that, man. Laurent coming in with a super chat. Thank you so much, Laurent. Thank you for all the support you've been showing the channel, man. You're saying here, MBG, I wonder if it's possible to have 2 NVMe slots in the PS5 Pro, or is the bandwidth not high enough for that to be possible? And yes, your streams make me at ease for sure. Thank you. Well, you're welcome, man. I'm glad to hear that. Again, I cannot compare what I'm about to have happen tomorrow to what you're going to go through, but I like to think I can understand, like, the feeling of nervousness. You know what I mean? Like, just that kind of, like, you know how they say the waiting is the hardest part. And yeah, that's very much true in life with important things that have to get done. But I'm glad to hear that it's helping, man. And your question, is it possible to have two NVMe slots? I doubt it. Like I'm not saying it isn't possible, but I just think that that's one of those things where, well, to be honest, I don't even know exactly what that would achieve, right? Like is the two NVMe slots, would that be for greater like storage, or are you talking about like just increasing the overall speed of the PS5 if you have like basically double the SSD? I don't think that would be, again, I don't want to say possible. I think it's possible, of course, if they really wanted to design it that way, I guess. But I just don't know that that would be something. You're saying for more storage. Okay, yeah. Because I was going to say, like, having, like, if I put two SSDs in, so it'd be twice as fast. That's how my brain works. But, yeah, okay, for more storage, well, I mean, yeah, again, I think it would be possible for them to do it, but I don't think they're going to, because my whole thought process with it is, there are NVMe drives that go up to like 4 terabytes. And I think for Sony, they just look at it as like, that's good. Of course, there are probably always going to be some people that would like to have much more than that so they can store all of the games. But in order for Sony to accommodate that, it would take up more space. It would require more silicon. I'm assuming it would produce more heat, having two SSDs in there. So I don't think they would. Yeah. Are you telling me some of them go up to 8 terabytes? You know what? That actually wouldn't surprise me. Are there 8 terabyte SSDs? Let me see. I'm on Amazon. I think the highest internal SSD that I'm seeing for PS5 is 4 terabytes. That's a lot, though, to me. 4 terabytes is a lot. I could hold quite a few games. Four terabyte SSDs cost more than the PS5. Yeah, they are pretty expensive. I haven't needed to do that. I've just delete games when I'm not playing them or when I'm done with them. It's been pretty effective for me. But yeah, I'm assuming the PS5 Pro, it's just going to have one NVMe slot, just like the current model PS5. That's my assumption. Ray, you're saying, what the F? YouTube unsubscribed me from the channel. How the hell does that happen? No wonder I was not getting notifications. And I'm a member. YouTube sorted out. Goddamn, dude. Yeah, that's extremely disheartening. That's so sad to think that, man, I might be losing some viewership here or some support from people who want to be here because YouTube is literally unsubscribing you from my channel. Not the first time I've heard that happen, though. You're subbed again. Yeah, hopefully it stays that way, man. That sucks. I'm glad you're here now, though. That's happened to you with a few channels. Yeah, I've heard people talk about that. That probably has happened to me, and I just never knew. I bet you that's happened to me before. We have Fabrice Paul with a super chat. Thank you for that, Fabrice. You're saying Xbox going full third party to make more money, but will the 30% of every transaction that doesn't make sense? They're already one of the biggest third parties on every platform. They have one game and franchise. So Fabrice, if I'm understanding what you're saying here correctly, are you saying that, and I'll be looking out for you in the chat to confirm or deny this, are you saying that to you, Xbox going full third party doesn't make sense when it comes to the idea of making more money because it's just with the 30%. Well, hold on. Because you know that Sony would be the one. Like, I'm talking about third party, I'm just framing it around the PS5 and Sony. Sony would be the one getting the 30% rip. Microsoft would be getting the 70% rip. But you're saying they're already one of the biggest third parties on every platform. Well, I mean, yeah, you're not wrong about that. And so I guess the way I'm reading your super chat is you're saying Microsoft shouldn't have to go full third party because they already have some of the biggest third party multi-plat games that are making them a ton of money. So why not just keep certain games, exclusive to the Xbox platform? But I think the answer to that is pretty simple. It's just because think about it, man. It's just more money. And again, like, Chris, you're saying it makes total sense when they don't have a console base to support ecosystem sales. Yeah. I mean, that's true too. But I think the key words in your super chat are full third party. I don't think Microsoft is going full third party anytime soon. I just don't see that happening. That would be too quickly. Could they go full third party in like 3-4 years, maybe by like next gen? Yeah, I could see that happening, and a lot could change between now and then. But I guess it's just like the way I see Microsoft's approach is the same way I see Sony's approach with PC, where it's, look, we have our own console, we have our own ecosystem, we have our own fan base, we have our own subscription service and Game Pass. We're going to keep new games that we release exclusive to that for a certain amount of time. Could be a year, could be 6 months, could be 2 years. We're not going to tell you how long it's going to be exclusive for, but it will be exclusive for a certain amount of time. And once it no longer matters, once we realize that people are not buying Xboxes or subscribing to Game Pass or coming to the Xbox ecosystem for these games are not driving new customers, they're not bringing in new customers, then we will port them to large platforms with large install bases like PlayStation and Nintendo, so we can just maximize the revenue and make the most amount of money. I know this may sound crazy to some people, but in the long run, I'm not talking anytime soon, I'm just talking the long run. I wouldn't be totally shocked if Sony decides to dip their toe in that water as well, just to see. I wouldn't be surprised if, let's say, 2 years into the PlayStation 6 life cycle, that'll be the year 2030. I wouldn't be surprised if Sony was just like, you know what? Let's release God of War 2018 on Xbox and see how many sales we can get. Just to try, just to see. But who knows? Maybe so. Again, like, a lot of people have argued against that because they're like, well, in order for Sony to want to justify that, again, like, we have to understand that the biggest draw for Microsoft is the install base. Microsoft sees dollar signs, bro. Like, when they see the Nintendo Switch has nearly 140 million install base. Holy shit. That's a lot of people. A lot of potential customers. PlayStation 5, 60 million install base. A lot of potential customers. And we have Sean Mitchell coming in. Sean Mitchell is keeping the membership train alive and thriving today. He decides he wants to contribute by dropping a membership gift. Sean Mitchell, thank you so much for that, man. You just brought us up to 59 members. So we are slowly but surely making our way to potentially a third goal here. Thank you, Sean. So I don't mean to be so long-winded with this because I think I'm just going in different directions. But I'm just saying, like, for Microsoft, believe it or not, this does make complete sense. It does. I think from Microsoft's perspective, they do believe that they can still maintain a decent console base and a decent fan base, like, not, I mean, I guess you could call it a fan base, but a decently sized core fan base, while simultaneously, diving into third-party releases and making a shit ton of money potentially. Again, like, look at Sea of Thieves, man. Sea of Thieves is clearly going to make Microsoft a pretty good chunk of change on the PlayStation platform. And, it's just one of these things where Microsoft is straight up turning to their Xbox fan base and saying, listen, we just don't care about this being exclusive to you guys because there's more money for us to make. And I think what we are seeing is, like, I mean, I haven't seen anybody in the Xbox fan base getting mad about Sea of Thieves, but I do think the conversation changes if we're not talking about Sea of Thieves. Now we're talking about Halo. Now we're talking about Gears. Now we're maybe talking about Starfield. I do think that the conversation does change when you bring those games into the equation. And so that's why I think the key words that you pointed out here are typed are full third party. We don't know if they're going full third party yet. I do think it's likely we're going to see more timed exclusivity with their games, but in the case of full third party, we will find out. Time will tell. And we have Paul Ganell, another longtime member, keeping the membership train going strong today, dropping another membership gift for us. He gets us to 60 members, a solid 60. Guys, we are 15 away from hitting potentially another goal. So thank you, guys. Absolutely destroying it today. Love to see the support. Means a lot. So good stuff, Paul.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, man. I can, like, as I'm going further into the stream, I can tell I'm losing it. I'm not, like, mentally, like, this headache, man. I think I'm going to have to take something for it. It's so bad today. This headache is so bad. And we got RU46 N2 Ray, another longtime member, continuing to pay it forward. He drops a membership gift. You guys are keeping this thing going today, man. So, Ray, thank you so much for that, buddy.
Thank you. I appreciate
You just brought
it.
us up to 61 members on the day. The membership train keeps going. Take some aspirin. I'm trying to stay hydrated. I'm drinking, there's an Element packet in here. I don't know if you guys have ever had Element. It's pretty good. I'm trying to, like, see if it's my electrolytes. I don't think it is. I do think it's just totally allergy related. I do have allergy medication, but I don't know. To be honest, I'm afraid to take anything because I gotta get a procedure done tomorrow. I just, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to risk any complications or whatever. That glass looks huge. It is big. It's like my favorite cup. It's large. Feels good to drink out of. There's something about drinkware, Never really thought about it growing up, but as I got older, I'm like, different drinkware, it feels different to drink from. And that's like a part of it. Tea is good for a headache. Maybe I'll have some tea when I'm done. I did have my normal amount of caffeine today as well, so maybe it's just something I did yesterday. It just sucks because, like, you guys know how it is. Everybody's had bad headaches before. They're just annoying as hell. I don't think I could take aspirin though. My father used to take aspirin all the time, and I think he definitely shouldn't have taken aspirin because he got stomach ulcers constantly from taking them. So I think I'm prone to stomach ulcers. So I got to be careful with stuff like aspirin. And Laurent, you're saying in a way I can understand some of their decisions, but in terms of getting them to sell consoles, I don't know. That's why, I mean, I don't know. Doesn't anybody find it? The more I think about the business update that Microsoft gave, something about it just feels strange, man. Like how it's like there was just so much that they revealed and talked about so candidly, but so quickly, where it's like, yeah, you know, we're bringing some games to competing consoles and platforms, but we have a next gen Xbox, and it's going to be the biggest technical leap ever. And it's like, again, they just kind of did this. They did exactly what I suspected they were going to try to do ultimately, which is they want to convey to everybody that we want the best of both worlds. We want to get more money from our games, so we're going to put them on competing platforms, but we're also going to make a nice next-gen console for everybody who wants that to enjoy. But you do have to really question, like, what is that? What does the next generation of Xbox look like? I don't know. Like, I think when I look at PlayStation and I look beyond the PS5 Pro and I think, what does the next generation of PlayStation look like? It looks pretty clear to me, you know? They're going to have a really powerful, capable console, and they're going to have some exclusives that they sell on that console, and that's what it's going to be. I mean, I feel like with Microsoft, well, let me add to that. And I think it means that the PlayStation is going to do just fine. Like, I'm not worried about the PlayStation 6. I'm pretty sure the PlayStation 6 is going to do just as good as the PS5, just as good as the PS4. You know? The only console generation that Sony struggled with was the PS3, and that was because, again, like, they just made some really obvious boneheaded mistakes that's like, this was easily avoidable, and they know not to make those same mistakes again. So I assume that the PlayStation 6 is going to do just fine. But I just feel like that's what's weird when you look at the next generation of Xbox console, where it's like, oh, if Microsoft tries to get out early ahead of the PS6, they're going to try to pull off another Xbox 360 move. But it's like, how do you do that if the rumors are true? Take it with a grain of salt. How do you do that if Halo and Gears are on PlayStation by that point? You know what I mean? It's like, you see, it's a very strange and unique situation that we've never really seen unfold before. So I don't really know. I don't even think Microsoft knows. I think Microsoft's going to find out. Chris Brown with the super chat saying, my Xbox Series X / PS5 collecting dust after I got my ROG Ally. That's interesting. Not all too surprising, though. Yeah, see this right here, Chris. I think you serve as a prime example as to why Sony does need to make another dedicated handheld. Because people are out here, they're playing their Steam Decks, they're playing their ROG Allies, and they're loving them. I mean, I don't know that you would trade in your ROG Ally for a dedicated PlayStation handheld, but you'd probably have some interest in it, right? Because if you're playing the ROG Ally that much, you must really love handheld gaming. You would be the first in line for a Sony handheld. Well, there you go. Sony, get on it. Get on it, Sony. That's going to be an exciting day. You know what? Let me point this out. Let me point this out. So we just got leaked specifications for Moore's Law is Dead. And Tom Henderson is now backing up Moore's Law is Dead, saying, yeah, his leak was correct. I just want it to be known that Moore's Law is Dead, he was the one who, I believe a couple of weeks ago, claimed that one of his sources that works with PlayStation claim that, yes, Sony is in the early phases of creating a new dedicated handheld that is mainly going to play PS4 games, but some PS5 games. So I think that we are now looking at like added credibility. We can add some credibility to what Moore's Law is that said here about a dedicated PlayStation handheld. And that's exciting because I'll tell you, man, if and when the day comes, when and if the day comes that Sony announces a new dedicated handheld, I think people are going to be very, 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 very excited. I mean, you're talking about a fan base that had the PSP, had the PS Vita, and the PS Vita was pretty much abandoned at some point. I mean, I saw the reaction from the fan base with the PlayStation Portal and how people were like, bro, Sony, what is this? Where's the dedicated handheld? So if that day comes, I think it's going to be a big win for Sony. As long as they don't screw it up, as long as they don't do something stupid with it, I think it could be a big win. I will say, though, too, the one thing that I think people need to understand, and I think they will understand, is that when Sony does another handheld, they're not going to make dedicated games for it. Like, any game that's made by PlayStation should technically be playable on it at some point. So I hope people understand that. I think most will, though. Fabrice Paul, member for 7 months, you're saying here, I just hope Xbox's decision doesn't hurt Xbox consumers in the future. The funny thing is that one of the first big games for the PS5 Pro will be Call of Duty. Oh, man. Oh, man. Good point. I'm actually excited for that, too, because it's Treyarch. It's going to be another Black Ops game. Oh, I didn't even think about that, bro. Yeah, that's annoying as hell. Holy shit. Dude, if I was I'm not saying this, in a facetious way. Dude, if I was an Xbox player and I was excited about Call of Duty, I would be pissed if it's like PlayStation still gets the better version. Oh, I did not even think of that. Or, I don't know, maybe no, I don't think they could do that either, because that would kind of go against what they said with the regulator. They would have to optimize for the PS5 Pro. Dude, holy shit, is the next Call of Duty going to release on PS4? No. No, dude. Could it? I didn't even think about any of this stuff. That would be nuts. I'll tell you what. Listen, if the next Call of Duty, like Black Ops, Cold War 2 or whatever it's going to be, if that does release on PS4, that shit has to be doing everything on the PS5 Pro, right? But for Fabrice, I will say this, man. It's a fair question to ask. And I think that's the question that Xbox fans do need to continue to ask themselves, because, yeah, stuff like this is seemingly about to become a reality, where if you're playing on PS5, if you chose to buy a PS5, yeah, you get to play Sea of Thieves, and you're going to get to play Call of Duty, and you're going to possibly get to play the best version of Call of Duty. You know, I just think that that's something that Microsoft has to be really careful with, because if that's how it happens, yeah, dude, MBG feel like shit edition, absolutely. Yes. Man, I really hope I don't wake up feeling this way tomorrow, because I'm gonna be fucking nervous. I feel like absolute shit right now, bro. It's not even funny. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War 2 Gulf War. Yeah, apparently it's going to be set in the Gulf War. I'm looking forward to it because I like Treyarch's Call of Duty games. I really enjoyed Black Ops Cold War a lot, actually. But yeah, we'll see, Fabrice. We'll just have to continue to monitor the situation. There's still so much we don't know. So many questions we don't have answers to, but I assume in the coming months, and certainly in the coming years, we are going to have definitive answers to these questions. Here's something else though, right, Fabrice? And I just will say this too. The next Call of Duty could be PS5 Pro enhanced, but Sony won't be able to market that. That's something worth, I think considering, where Sony could have this advantage, but people might not really know about it, or it'll be difficult. Like, it'll be something that's only talked about in the more hardcore circles of gamers like ourselves, where it's like, we know about it, but does everybody else? And the answer to that will probably be no, because Xbox is going to have the marketing. And so here's how I view it as well. Like, Microsoft is going to be able to come out and say, yeah, all right, yeah, I'm going to let him in a couple minutes. Oh, all right. Well, she's going to have to wait just a little bit longer. Apparently Leia wants to come in too. But what I was going to say, Fabrice, is that Microsoft is going to be saying, like, hey, you can get the next Call of Duty on Game Pass. And so, of course, like, Sony might be able, I don't think they'll be able to market it, but they might be able to at least just let people know, like, Call of Duty's PS5 Pro enhanced. And so I feel like those two things might end up canceling each other out, where it's like, hey, if you're playing on PlayStation, you can get the best version of Call of Duty Black Ops Gulf War or whatever. But Xbox players will be able to say, yeah, but we get to just play it through Game Pass for free. I mean, it's not free, but that's how it'll be talked about. So maybe those two things will end up canceling each other out. We should also pay attention to Nintendo, because apparently Call of Duty will be coming to Nintendo at some point. So we'll see. We have Titus with a super chat. Titus says, I would love a third handheld from Sony. I love the PSP and the PS Vita. PS, MBG, good luck for the procedure tomorrow. Well, thank you for that, man. I appreciate that. And yeah, you're not the only one, Titus. A lot of people, I think, would, again, be lined up day one for a handheld like that. Like, I wonder if Sony knows that, though. Like, I wonder if Sony knows that the demand for a new Sony handheld would be pretty high. Maybe they feel confused. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't know that. All right, let's see. So we are approaching the 3-hour mark. I want to check something real quick. Okay, I don't give a shit how dark I just made everything. I can't deal with that fucking light in my face anymore. I can't. Like, my eyes hurt. MBG can't wait to log off. Man wants to lay down. Dude, I hate feeling like this too, because, like, no, I don't want to. Like, I don't want to. Like, I wanted to do shit today, But that's how it goes sometimes. Call it a day. Well, here's what we can do. I want to read a couple more of these comments. This person left a comment saying, if these specifications are true, this will be the first console to cost like $1,200. That's insane. Like, how can anybody think that? How could anybody think that? This person says, Max with 34 upvotes says it's so hard to be excited about the PS5 Pro when Sony has shown nothing interesting or anything unique. Do you guys agree with that? How do you feel about that? Do you agree or disagree with that statement? I mean, I feel like that's kind of fair, I feel like that's fair. You don't agree, Hanzo? To me, it's like kind of 50-50 where I see what I think is tough with the comment like that is that comment almost implies that like Sony isn't going to show anything, you know? Like there's no reason to care. Like we're not going to have a reason to care about the PS5 Pro because Sony's not going to show us anything. And I think that's it. I guess that just kind of comes down to like how much faith you have in Sony and what they'll show. Yeah, to me, it's like a 50-50 thing. I guess what I'll say is I hope that's not how it turns out. This person says, forget 8K. Let's just be hopeful that we'll be able to say goodbye to 30 FPS. Yeah, I can agree with that. This person says, I'll be getting a PS5 Pro for sure. I don't care about the rumors. I already plan on buying one. I could have swore there were more negative comments, bro. Then again, this video has a lot of comments. This is a good question. All of those specs go over my head, but how many studios will be able to harness its full power? It's a good question. I don't know. This person says 33.5 teraflops would suggest around a 300% performance improvement, but in actual reality, it's only 45% performance improvement. It's not that impressive of an improvement. And then this person replied by saying 45% is huge, considering it's still a current-gen console. Makes me wonder how big of a leap next-gen will be. Yeah, that's like, I don't know. I would consider 45% a pretty big improvement. All of them are complaining. I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of complaints about the PS5 Pro. Just scrolling through here. Ghost of Tsushima on the PS5 Pro will look amazing. I agree with that. This person says another mid-gen refresh that will only show its actual power with first-party games. No thanks. And then this person underneath says with no new first-party games for well over a year. You gotta love how people just word shit the way that they want to word it. Do you know Sony's not releasing any first-party games for over a year? Really? Did they say that? Sony's not releasing any first-party games. What are you talking about? No, it turns out that's not what they said. They said that they're not releasing any sequels or games from their major franchises. I get it, though. I get it. People are going to hear what they want to hear, man. These comments have a lot of upvotes, by the way. Who cares? Modern Sony is ass. The only thing that they put out worth caring about is Helldivers. They should have bought Arrowhead and not wasted money on Bungie. 22 upvotes, bro. Who cares? Modern Sony is ass. All they did was release Helldivers 2, you know, like the biggest game in the world right now. They should have bought Arrowhead instead of Bungie. Dude, my favorite thing about that comment is he finds a way to just like shit on Bungie by the end of it, and I love it. Like he went to go shit on Sony, but he ended up actually shitting on Bungie instead. I don't know. I don't fully agree with that comment. I mean, isn't there something super ironic about a person leaving a comment saying, who cares? Like, dude, you care. Not only did you click on my video about the PS5 Pro, but you left a long ass comment. You care more than like 99% of people, bro. It's okay. Helldivers 2 fanboy. He's a Helldivers 2 fanboy. That was a funny comment. Shinji Carey, who I don't know. Are you here? I see you in the chat sometimes. Yes, Shinji, you're here. You said, what's the point? What's the point of these hardware specs when we have to wait so much for new first-party games, and most of them that do come out are woke dumpster fires like Spider-Cuck 2, remasters, and remakes. Shinji, please tell me how you really feel, bro. Holy shit. That comment went off a fucking cliff, bro. That comment like ramped up. It went from like 0 to 100 out of nowhere. What? Oh, hold on. There's more. What are you going to do with the hardware specs when we don't have games? Put this hardware in a museum and stare at it? Shinji, you don't think you're being a little much, bro? Come on. That's insanely, like, that's insane. Come on. I will say, though, that was an entertaining comment. That was a fucking entertaining comment. A woke dumpster fire like Spider Cuck, too. That's funny, dude. Sony, quit it with the woke dumpster fires, will you? How are we supposed to be excited for a PS5 Pro when all we know what to expect are woke dumpster fires? Thank you, Sinji. That comment brought a smile to my face. And we got Sean Mitchell. Sean Mitchell is keeping the membership train going today by dropping another 5 memberships for you guys. Sean drops another 5 bomb. 66 members. Guys, do you remember the significance of the number 66? Are we going to do it? Listen, we're at 66. The third goal to crush today is 75. We are less than 10 away. We are 9 members away from crushing a third goal today. Are we going to do it? Sean Mitchell wants to do it. Sean Mitchell spamming triple anus in the chat. Absolutely. Sean Mitchell's ready for the triple anus. I'm ready for the triple anus. Let's do it. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate that, bud. I really got to get that triple anus merch. I do. I got to do something about that. Don't worry. I'm working on merch. It's taken a while, but it'll be worth the wait. And Chris B, the legend, coming out of nowhere. He said, "You know what, MBG? We're doing it. We're crushing a third goal today. We're going beyond 75. He drops a 10 bomb on you guys. Chris just brought us up to 76 members on the day. He follows up Sean in a huge way here. Chris, thank you so much for that, man. Chris, I feel like I got to give you another. Chris kept us waiting today. He comes in nearly 3 hours in and drops that 10 bomb on us. Good stuff. I got to bring in Boss is what I got to do, actually. Give me a second. Let me go get Boss so I can give him his snacks like I promised. I didn't know he was sitting right there. Boss is going to wreck the place. All right, Boss. You ready? You ready for your snacks? You're going to get double the snacks, Boss, because we're at 76 members. Let's go. All right, here we go. Oh, hold on. I have to let Leia in, too. Man, you guys are getting lucky today. Not only is Boss in here, but Leia's joining us. A rare Leia appearance. You know what's funny, though, is that Leia doesn't really care about snacks. So I guess she's just in here for the fun of it. But all right. Here you go, Boss. Look at that. It's a massive pile of snacks for you. That's thanks to this community. Crushing 3 goals today, Boss. Don't forget them. Don't forget why you have these snacks. He loves these ones, man. He's very happy. But seriously, thank you guys for all of your support. It's a huge membership day. 76. I do feel bad that I'm not going to be able to do a members launch for you. And I also feel bad that I don't know how soon I'm going to get back to making content. I didn't mean to ask you guys a question. Serious question for you. I have a serious question, all right? Just answer honestly. How would you guys feel? I'm not saying I'm doing this, by the way, but it's just I'm just trying to gauge the audience. I know before I ask this question that you guys will say, do what you want, MBG. It's your channel. You do what you want. I know that, but just curious, how would you guys feel if I wasn't on camera? Hypothetically. For those who've been here long enough, you know that when I used to host Press X podcast, I was never on camera. Only Boss. It would just be Boss on camera. Permanently? I don't think it would be. No. I don't think permanent is a thing. I don't think that would work. Because I feel like I've been on camera for too long. To be clear, I'm not planning on doing that. What got me thinking about that, though, is there is a chance that when there is a chance I might have to not be on camera for a stream or two or more, depending. I don't know. Like, again, I have no idea what to expect. And it just got me thinking, like, how would people, like, I have no idea what the response would be. It's been, dude, I don't think I've done a stream not being on camera. Easy there, boss. In 3+ years or something like that. But no, that's not necessarily in the cards. It was just kind of one of those things where not really sure how people would react to that, you know? What if I became a VTuber? Would you guys accept that? What if I became a VTuber and my avatar was basically like an animated version of Boss? I mean, doesn't that almost sound better? That's funny, man. Hanzo. Hellbound. No. Hanzo. No. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That the more I think about it, that does sound like a bad idea. Because like nothing could really replace Boss that way, you know? Like a virtual version of Boss? What am I thinking? What am I thinking here? Dude, you know you still have a couple more over here, right? Did you miss these ones? I think you missed them. Yeah, here. I don't, Boss, how do you miss like 3 snacks, man? You don't mind audio only for a few? We'll see. I don't know what's going to happen. Boss NFT, you can't do that to us. You can't go digital, brother. I'm going all digital. No, I don't. I'm not planning on making any kind of dramatic changes to my channel. It just kind of made me think about it for a little bit, though, you know, where it's like, man, it's hard to believe that there was a time where I was never on camera. I never made any videos on camera. I never did any streams on camera. I was just a voice. I didn't even have like an avatar or anything like that. MBG, it's a ghost town out there. Literally no news, zero. I know, dude. Irfan, back me up here. March has been terrible so far, right? Right? Like, I feel like there's been, like, no news. I mean, of course, like, there's the leak of the PS5 Pro, but I feel like that's basically it, man. It's been, like, annoyingly quiet. A lot of games releasing. Yeah, I've still been playing FF7 Rebirth. I'm trying to, dude, I'm pushing through Rebirth, man. I'm trying real hard to get done Rebirth before Rise of the Ronin. I don't think it's going to happen, though, man. I think I'm on chapter, like, 6 now. So, I don't know if it's going to happen. RPG88, member for 20 months. You're saying, MBG, I wish you the best on your upcoming surgery. Dental pain is the worst. Try not to overstress it. I appreciate that, man. I'm trying not to. I'm trying not to stress about it too much. It's kind of hard not to. You know how it is with these things. But the only thing I'm actually like really curious about. I'm curious about two things. Curious about like how I'm gonna feel. Like I guess the day after, how long the recovery is actually gonna be. Because I don't want to lose too much time on the channel. I mean, if I have to, I'll just drum up a stream where I'm not talking. I'll talk to you guys through. I'll just sit here and I'll talk to you guys through the chat, and I'll bring Boss in the room, and that'll be the stream. But yeah, I'm curious to see how I look too, like how different I look depending on some of the shit that's going down tomorrow. So we'll find out together, I guess. I appreciate that. And Chris B with a super chat. Chris B, you're saying if Moore's Law is right and we get a PS5 Pro with 120 hertz plus super sampling toggle with any game, that's going to be awesome. That would be incredible. Like to me, that would totally be worth like upgrading to the PS5 Pro for. Where, I mean, it's hard to believe it would be any game, but if that's really what happened, where it's like any game, 120 hertz, and they're super sampling, right? Like, yeah, that would be great. Can you, boss? How many times do we have to go over this? Chill the fuck out. I'm not up to this today, man. I'm not up to the whole I'm gonna bite your microphone and destroy it. Has Boss got beef with the mic stand? He must. That's his go-to at this point. His go-to. Look, I'm gonna give him all the attention. You got my attention, Boss. I'm right here. You've got my attention. I'm not looking at the chat. All right, I'm not. It's all on you. You happy now? You gonna stop biting my microphone stand now? You good? You good, bro? It will save devs extra time to optimize. That's what you're saying, Magnum Gaming? Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. A lot of people, I think, are focused on, I think, the wrong thing here, where they believe that, you know, it's going to make dev time harder. Or not dev time harder, but dev time longer and potentially more difficult. I don't think so, though. Well, look. All right, guys. Oh, shit. Hold on. All right, guys. You see this? We hit 100 members. I'm going to brush Boss. I'm going to give him a good brushing. Make it happen. Boss does need to get brushed, though. It's getting warm out pretty quickly, and he's shedding. But yeah, dude, that's the thing is it almost seems like it seems like the PS5 Pro might actually make development a little bit easier, at least in terms of optimization. Brad, you're saying you just did the winter blowout for your dogs yesterday? What did you just eat? Believe in Cerny. I believe in Cerny. Oh my God. That is crazy, dude. He's got so much hair. You've reached that part of the stream where you just watch me groom, boss. You have huskies twice a year. It's always fun, especially clean up. I've never had a husky. I always thought they were cool though. But yeah, I mean, I can imagine they're pretty hairy, or they shed a lot, I guess. Twice a year. Your pet bunny is losing a lot of hair, but he's alone now. Yeah, that's sad. I feel like my sister had a pet rabbit once or twice. I always thought that was I never understood having like a pet rabbit. To be honest, I never understood having like a. It's not that I don't understand it. I've never personally had like a pet mouse. Not mouse. Is that a normal pet? A pet mouse? See, this is where I don't know what's normal, what's not. Because I know, like, growing up, my sister, well, like, she was always begging to have a pet mouse. And like, is that common? But I know, like, gerbils are pretty common. I never had a gerbil. I never cared to have a gerbil or a hamster. I knew people who had like pet ferrets. If you love pet anything, anything can be a pet. You had a pet alligator? You're from South Florida? Oh, dude, that sounds sounds dangerous. I don't think I would have a pet alligator. Pet birds are annoying. At one point in my life, I had a couple of birds. Not me. Again, I don't know if it was my sister or my parents, but yeah, holy shit, they were annoying. I'm sorry. I did not like having pet birds. I think boss had enough. Pet human. Wow. Somebody went there. Pet monkey must be so fun. Dude, I would never. I think gorillas and chimps and monkeys are very fascinating. But I would never have any of them as a pet because like you hear about those people where like they had like pet chimps or whatever, and one day they just snap and they just rip your face off. Shit's terrifying, man. Pet lizards. I think pet lizards are pretty common, I would say. I knew this person one time, they had a pet snake and a pet tarantula. That shit's like, no thanks, bro. I'm good. Pet lion. I mean, I see these videos pop up sometimes on Twitter of like people like they do have like pet tigers, and I'm like, you're out of your mind. You have to be out of your mind to have a pet tiger, right? Why risk it? I mean, I get the allure. I do. Like a giant cat it does sound tantalizing, but that giant cat at any moment could rip you to shreds, and there's nothing you could do to stop it. You know. Don't worry, boss. Boss got concerned. He came over and he's like, "What are you talking about?" You're enough for now, boss. You're enough for now. You don't have to worry. You too, Leia. Leia's getting concerned too. Come on, Leia. Come show yourself. Yeah, come on. You guys hear? There she is. Sit down, Leia. Make yourself comfortable. Let people see you. My camera's a little too high right now. Come here, Leia. Come here. I'm trying to get both boss and Leia on the camera at the same time. Damn, that's too low now. That's good. And she's gone. I don't know. Leia's very finicky. She's very finicky. She has a nice color. If she goes closer to the door, you probably see her. How is she not? How is she not showing up on camera? She's right. Oh, wow. She's just below the threshold. That's weird. Double trouble. Oh, dude, you know what? I was out for a walk the other day. And just walking down the sidewalk. And right in front of us, see this, I think it was a falcon. I don't really know the difference between a hawk and a falcon, but I think it looked more like a falcon. This big ass falcon swoops down, and it looks like it grabbed something, and then it was perched up on the tree in front of us, probably about 10 feet in front of us. This is a big tree, and it was just sitting there. I was like, "Holy shit, that thing is massive!" And I was getting like a good clear look at it, and then I realized, like, oh, it grabbed like a baby animal of some kind. I don't know if it was like a baby squirrel or something. And I just was like, damn, dude. I'm like watching nature happen in front of me right now. Like I felt bad. I was like, damn. I know that that's what they do. Like I know that that's just nature where it's like, yeah, they hunt baby animals and eat them and like kill them or kill them and eat them. And I'm like, but I was just like staring at it like, fuck, it's kind of hard to watch right now. So I didn't stare at it that long, but I was just, I'd never seen anything like that. All right, don't knock my camera over, boss. Be careful. Watching the food chain in real time. Exactly, Rashdam. Exactly. Nature is pretty cruel like that, you know? When you were in Cyprus, this old lady had a pigeon on a kind of leash. That's interesting. A pet pigeon. I was walking my pet pigeon. Damn. I think, yeah, pet turtles are somewhat common, right? Every year there's like a family of rabbits that live, I think like behind my garage. I remember one year I found a dead rabbit right in my front yard. It's really like I don't know. I guess I just wasn't expecting it. Like just like a dead rabbit, just like completely sprawled out on my yard. I was like, damn. was not obvious how it was killed either. I think that's what freaked me out about it. I was like, how the hell did... I was like, what killed this rabbit? He's just lying here. Oh, you know what? Oh, I had another thing happen with a dead animal that I found that was even... freaked me out even more. There was like this... it was a possum. And I went to go put my trash in the trash bin, and I opened... I don't think I had the lid on. I just went and I hovered over to go put it in, and I saw this possum just like laying in there. And I don't know. I'm not some kind of like wilderness badass or animal badass here. Like, I was like, what the fuck is that in there in my trash can right now? And I basically jumped back, freaked out. And I like kind of peeked over and got a closer look at it. And it was like just a possum, but it was kind of like curled up, but it looked like it was still alive. I just walked away. I'm like, I don't know what's going on there. I'm not fucking with a possum. You know, I don't know. I don't know what it's doing. I just put the trash down and I just walked away, and I guess it just eventually left. But yeah, that was a funny moment. I don't know. Like, are possums, are they dangerous? It was pretty big too. Like, I think that's what caught me off guard, is I just was not expecting this just massive animal just to be chilling in there. There's this stray cat that wanders around my area too. White cat. Me and my wife named... I mean, I don't know if it's a female cat or not, but we named her Ellie. She's just like this stray cat that survives year after year, and occasionally if we see her outside, I'll put like some cat food out there for her. But I think she definitely goes through my trash bins and stuff for sure. Possums can have rabies. Yeah, that's why I was like not fucking with it. I'm like, I guess it was scared or whatever, because it was kind of like laying down, and like I was like questioning, like, is this thing alive or dead? But I was pretty sure it was alive. Possum's biggest misconception is they are carriers of rabies. I'm kind of curious, actually. Why isn't my keyboard working? Are possums dangerous? They are not aggressive. Their open-mouthed defensive hissing is merely a bluff to look vicious. Well, shit, it'll work on me. It's a bluff, but it would work on me. And if that doesn't work, they play dead when really scared. Far from being a nuisance, possums can be beneficial for your garden by eating snails. Oh, shit, now I feel bad. So they can't do anything. Oh, wow. I feel bad. I feel bad at how fucking terrified I was. Where I was like, that's a fucking vicious animal, danger, alert. You know? It's going to kill me or attack me. Meanwhile, it's like its defense is literally playing dead. This is why I don't go outside, man. Never Google your problems, man. That's all I do is Google my problems. You've been bit by a possum? What was that like? Maybe you can help me feel a little bit better here. Was it really painful? Did it really mess you up? Is it safe to touch a possum? Although possums are highly resistant to rabies and they rarely carry rabies, you surely don't want to risk getting any problems. One of the first recommendations regarding wildlife is not to touch them with your bare hands for several reasons, including hygiene. So I guess so they are highly resistant to rabies. Yeah, I would not touch any wild animal with my bare hands. Did I call animal rescue? I didn't have to. It was just gone. I just figured if I just walk away, I'll just like whatever that possum's doing, I don't care. It's in my trash. It can have fun. It can do what it wants to do. So I just like went out the next day to double check and it was gone. You know what I haven't seen though? A raccoon. I know raccoons like to rummage through trash and stuff. I don't think I've ever seen it right. Now that I said that though, I'll definitely see one this spring or summer. Saying you've been bitten by a dog, and so is your sister. Note to self: don't pet a golden retriever guarding a car. Yeah, dogs can be scary. Absolutely. Um, I think that a lot of domesticated dogs are totally fine, but I'm definitely not one of these people that like if I see a dog, I'm not just gonna go pet them. You know what I mean? Like if they have an owner, I'll definitely ask their owner. Um, there was this one dog I saw not too long ago. I was by this dog park and this person had like a 200-pound like what are they called? Saint Bernard. Massive. I mean colossal dog, dude. Like very intimidating looking. I'm like, holy shit, that dog looks like he could pummel me easily. But he was like super friendly, super nice, and the owner was like, "Yeah, he's totally cool, man. You can pet him." I don't think I've ever seen a dog that big though. Like I think that was by far the biggest dog I've ever seen. It was a fucking behemoth, man. Pit bulls. I won't lie. Pit bulls do scare me a little bit. Yeah, like I just knowing that they have like was it like the lockjaw or whatever. I know that there's like a lot of misconceptions potentially with pit bulls where like it's about how you raise them, and I believe that, but I always just kind of I don't know. I always just keep that in mind. But then again, I guess any animal, I guess truthfully, can become dangerous. Did you guys ever see that video of that guy where it was Christmas morning? He opened up his PS4 and his cat just attacked him, like violently, like literally jumped for his neck, and he was like, "Oh, fuck." I mean, boss, you never do that to me, right? He's laying in front of me. I don't think you guys can see him, but boss, you'll never attack me like that, right? I'm gonna have lockjaw after the dentist tomorrow. Don't tell me that. Wow, thanks, Gaming Survivor. You're really making me feel good. Yeah, I'm gonna go live. Listen, I'm gonna go live like right after my appointment. I'm just gonna be totally fucked up. I was like, and you guys will just. I'm gonna do it so just so you guys can donate, okay? Oh shit, Leia is behind me. All right, I can usually have an easier time getting Leia to talk. Let me see if I can get her to talk. Leia, what are you doing? What are you doing? What? You're shedding too. You're shedding too. What? I'm trying. She's so close. I can see it in her eyes. She wants the meow. Go ahead. All right. These cats, man, they're too shy. I'll be drooling all over the mic. Tried watching Madam Web and couldn't get through 10 minutes before shutting it off. Yeah, I heard that movie was an absolute dumpster fire. I saw some clips of it on Twitter, and I was like, this can't be real. New movies these days. Sony somehow managed to make a movie worse and more irritating than Morbius. This is actually a feat to me in my Yeah, I don't follow Sony when it comes to the movie side. And that's sad to me that Madam Web was made by Sony. It's like, come on, bro. That's rough. Because I will tell you, the few clips that I saw on Twitter, it was bad. Like, I was like, I actually thought it was like altered and people mess with it. It was like, no, that's a real movie that was made. And these are some scenes from it. Yeah, Sony does Spider-Verse, and that was like a huge success. Boss is legitimately laying on his back right now. What's that new movie with Emma Stone called? Yeah, I've seen that I haven't seen clips of it, but apparently she like won Best Actress or whatever. Yo, you know what I saw too? I know Ryan Gosling during the Oscars, he sung the Barbie song, the Ken song or whatever. But dude, Slash was there. Slash showed up at the end doing a sick ass guitar song. I'm like, okay, all right, you've got my attention. The movie is called Poor Things. Okay, yeah, I haven't seen it. I didn't see the Barbie movie either. I haven't like seen any movies in a while. You hope you're Knuff for the PS5 Pro. That's all we can hope for, man. But yeah, I was really surprised to see Slash show up at the end. Yeah, I saw that clip with Michael Keaton too. Arnold was there. Arnold was there, threatening Michael Keaton with Danny DeVito, and Michael Keaton stayed in character the whole time. Michael Keaton is Batman, and he's like, I could take you. I was actually, dude, to be honest, I was kind of surprised to see Arnold at the Oscars. Yeah, Arnold and Danny DeVito up on stage at the Oscars. They starred in Twins together in like 1988. They trying to tell us something? But guys, listen. We are about to hit the 3.5 hour mark. So I wanted to chat with you guys a little bit. Since I'm not doing a members lounge, I figured, if I just chat with you guys here a little bit, maybe kind of make up for that, just a little bit more casual chat. But I am going to end the stream here. I definitely got to figure out what's going on with my headache, because probably just going to have to take some medicine and chill for the rest of the day. And so, yeah, if I get a video out tomorrow, it'll only be because I was able to squeeze one out before I had to, why am I saying it like that? Squeeze one out? Like what? Why am I using that terminology? What's wrong with me? Let me try again. I'm sorry. I apologize. Let me try again. TMS. I see. I almost went there. But I'm not going there. I'm not going there. Let me try again. If I managed to release a video tomorrow, it was only because I was able to make and release a video prior to my appointment. And so just another reminder that, listen, I could be back as soon as Tuesday. I could be back at the end of the week. I really don't know. I'll try to keep you guys updated. But yeah. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And before I head out, I do want to thank you guys for not only the well wishes, but all the direct support that you've shown. Again, we crushed 3 goals today. We started off today with a goal of 25 members. We're ending with 76. Thank you guys so much for that. And thank you to everybody who donated a super chat as well. Shout out to all of you guys for funding the channel, for funding the content, and making it possible for me to do this. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. I'm hoping that the gaming news will pick up in the next week or two because, yeah, things have been pretty quiet lately. But that hasn't stopped you guys from still showing support. So good stuff, man. So, all right, that does it. Sorry, I'm just reading some of the chat. You guys are funny. Yeah, thank you again for all the well wishes, and yeah, I'll update you guys as soon as I can, and just be on the lookout for the next stream. I'll be toothless. I'm just kidding. I won't be completely toothless. You can guess which tooth will be missing, though. All right, you guess which tooth will be missing. I'll see you guys next stream. All right. So take care, everyone. And oh yeah, I almost forgot. Shout out to Devil Shooter as well. By the way, Devil Shooter does the timestamps. He does a great job. So if you see him in the comments, give him a thank you. I know he really appreciates the shout out he gets. So appreciate what you do, Devil Shooter. All right, that does it. I will catch you all in the next one with no teeth. Take care, guys.